Mostly cloudy skies today. Look for a high of 37. A little bit of snow at times late tonight. Little or no accumulation, low 31. Flurries tomorrow, a high 36. Snow on Sunday morning, little or no accumulation, high 37. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Mostly cloudy, 28 at O'Hare. Cloudy and 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Seth Leibson of 960thepatriot.com for townhall.com. The forces of war and evil are exploding everywhere. In the Middle East, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. One might even call it pandemonium. Our allies are at risk, our enemies, and the enemies of our allies are unrelenting. Add to this, we're looking at an unprecedented free-for-all invasion at our southern border. This election year is looking a lot like 1980. In that campaign, Ronald Reagan said, quote, "We know only too well that war comes not when the forces of freedom are strong, but when they are weak. It is then that tyrants are tempted. We simply cannot learn these lessons the hard way again without risking our destruction." Close quote. Tragically, we are learning these lessons the hard way. One can only remember where the world was from the Middle East to Europe to Central America in 1980 and imagine the nightmare it could have become were Ronald Reagan not elected. We're getting that same sense right now. President Biden needs to be defeated. I'm Seth Leibson.
Are you ready for an adventure of a lifetime? Journey with me, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, on the Patriots Alaska cruise this summer. It's an incredible opportunity to engage with me and other like-minded patriots on an epic 7-day cruise over 4th of July weekend. Witness the untouched wilderness of Alaska while discussing America's future. What could be better? Join me from June 29th to July 6th. Call 855-565-5519 or reserve online. PatriotsAlaskaCruise.com.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts, knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, commercial property, or even vacant land, let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. She's reliable, responsive, personable, and extremely thorough when helping you deal with an otherwise stressful transaction. Attorney Kim leads with her values and is committed to providing legal services with excellence. To contact Attorney Kim, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com. Whether it's drafting agreements, negotiating contract terms, or closing on a property, Attorney Susan J. Kim can do it all. Over 10 years of experience and her wealth of knowledge tackling complicated legal negotiations and breaking them down into a smooth, easy-to-understand process is what she does best. So let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. To schedule your legal consultation today, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com or call 847-906-3166. Susan J. Kim, attorney at law, is a state of Illinois licensed real estate attorney.
This is Mark Curran. For over 30 years as a prosecutor and a sheriff, I've spent my entire career fighting for the injured and most vulnerable. And I continue those efforts now as a trial lawyer. Many of the lawyers I face in the courtroom today are on the side of the abortion industry, as well as many other intrinsic evils. Martindale-Hubbell, the agency that rates attorneys, has given me the highest rating for both ethics and ability. I'm a former county, state, and federal prosecutor, as well as a 3-term sheriff. I'm also the host of the popular program Cross-Examination on Catholic Radio. You want a trial lawyer with the highest credentials and ability who will not support the evil agenda destroying America, then call me at 847-721-3189 or go to markcurranlaw.com. That's Mark Curran, Curran, law.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Retirement planning can be complicated. From asset and legacy protection to retirement income and extended care, you need a plan. Tune in to Retirement and Income Radio, hosted by well-known Chicagoland financial educator Mark Kohler. Mark helps listeners in or near retirement protect their savings from market volatility while creating lifetime guaranteed income. Listen to Retirement and Income Radio Sunday afternoons at 3:30 on AM 560 The Answer, or call Mark now at 844-619-SAFE.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Chronic pain can be very bossy. What do I mean? It tells you what you can or can't do. Sometimes it even has the audacity to keep you from working.
I missed almost 3 weeks of work, and I was no longer able to play tennis. The pain was really debilitating sometimes. I missed Thanksgivings.
Abby was ready to put the bossy bad back in her past. And that's when she discovered QC Kinetics and their non-surgical treatments for pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine with tens of thousands of satisfied patients, people who have experienced real lasting relief without drugs and without surgery.
It has just been the most life-changing, amazing experience. Not only life-changing, but career-saving. I get to continue to do the career that I love. I'm playing tennis again.
Stop letting that joint pain boss you around. Start with a free consultation at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here, John Anthony, and for Dan Proft.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm so, it would help if I put my headphones on. Let me try that again.
I think this chair's trying to take out my headphones.
That headphone jack, not to throw anybody under a bus, has been broken for a very long time. So, which one are you going to use? Are you going to use this one here? Or are you going to use
I'm going to use this one, but I gotta wrap it from underneath the chair.
Yeah, that's probably from me from yesterday. So Dan's off today, and I was thinking, is he going golfing? And you know what? I really think he's at FatCon. Did you hear about FatCon? It's in Seattle. It's a 2-day event where people celebrate obesity and all that fun stuff. Have you heard about it?
No,
they have
this
fashion
is the first
shows. They have embracing the folds, where they teach people how to clean. I'm not making this up. It's like, there's Comic-Con, there's furry conventions. Now there's fat
Con.
convention.
Oh.
And I said something to Dan yesterday that was, how I felt. I said I became a fattest because, and that's a horrible thing to say, but during COVID.
Is that a word?
It's a word now. 79% of the people who were hospitalized or died were obese or morbidly obese. And Dan came back at me and was like, no, this is the way it is. It's our government officials that put the policies in place. That's the reason why everything happened. But I was thinking about it all day yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I'm not changing my mind. These people made life choices that are different than other people's life choices. And their life choices were not to work out, not to do something good for themselves, not to back away from the buffet table. And so, no, I still stand by what I said. Because of their poor choices, our children in Illinois were locked in their homes for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't have a vaccination card, you couldn't go to even when movies, when everything opened up, movie theaters, restaurants, bars, gyms, and our kids were still stuck in school.
Yeah. I forgot about the cards.
Oh, the card. Oh, you forgot about those?
Forgot
I
about-
didn't. When some snot-nosed kid at Chipotle, it's like, can I have your vaccination card?
Oh, gosh.
Like, pound sand, but here it is, buddy.
I
Whatever.
used to just walk in.
Oh, you did? You didn't?
Kick me out. They never did. I just walked right in.
Well, I just wanted to get that off my chest because it really.
FatCon.
Yeah, go take a little look-see. Because at Southwest now, when you go online to buy your flight, you can check that you're obese, and they'll give you a seat for free next to you.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
When did this happen? I thought you had to
what
pay
was
for
it,
the
Justin?
extra seat.
That's what you normally
Yeah.
have to, but now if you're fat, we're just going to celebrate your fatness and give you a free seat.
Uh-oh, fat shaming.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm
Get the
tall.
emails.
I want a free seat.
Send the emails to where? What's
I'm
your email
tall.
address?
I'm tall.
Well, I
wanna
got to be
spread-
fair.
Look at my arms are long.
They are.
Okay, look at this wingspan. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I need to have a free seat, or maybe I can identify as obese and walk on the plane like this.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Now, to be fair, I was almost 300 pounds. You know why I got there? I had surgery, and the medications they had me on, and all that type of stuff, blew me up, and I stopped taking the medications, and now I'm working back. I told you I'm back working out. So, to be fair, sometimes it's to no fault of their own a reason why a person gains a lot of weight.
I have a
too.
really
And-
dear friend who was on medication, and she gained
Especially the steroids.
100 plus pounds.
The steroids blow you up.
Steroids don't work. I've tried
blow you up.
cortisone shots. I've tried steroids
Yeah.
for certain injuries over the years. None of that works.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It didn't work for my hip, at least.
Yeah. Well, I was 179 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's a lot. Wow.
I was miserable.
I was that in high school.
Well, tackle you.
No,
in
I
high
wasn't
school.
even that in high school.
No, I just had the second baby, and I was
Yeah.
that much, and I was
Pregnancies do it as well.
exactly. And
you
some
know.
women, God bless them, some women you don't even know they're pregnant. I'm not kidding. I worked with a woman in Tucson at KOLD. She was in the sales department. When they put a thing out, congratulations to Lydia with a baby girl. I'm like, baby girl? I mean, the chick was this big. I never even didn't even see a bump. But then when I got pregnant, and then
You
after
remember
the
the DJ?
second baby, people would call Channel 5 and write letters about
Really?
Advice for my third baby. And I'd be, I'm not pregnant.
What?
Oh, yeah. People were rude. And
You
they
m-
did the same thing to Marianne Ahern, too.
You remember
We
the
both would get
DJ?
letters.
Fat Boy. He's still a DJ.
Fat Boy.
He's that real. He used to be like
That
400
skinny
or
dude?
500
No.
pounds. You know, I was watching him tell a story about how he was able to hide 2 guns under his rolls. Got arrested in California. Told his brother, because he knew he had warrants out for his arrest. So he told his brother, listen, if they come get me, don't come bail me out. I know I got these warrants. Until he had the 2 guns. He's in lockup in the county.
In
the
with the
county
guns.
lockup. I mean, no, he was in the city,
Okay.
the police
Yeah.
lockup, and he knew that they were getting ready to transfer him to county because they do strip searches in it.
Oh,
He literally had 2 guns hidden under his flaps. He tells that story.
And then he ended up at a White Sox game. Whatever happened to that? Remember the
Oh my goodness!
the gun that went off?
Yeah.
Did they
ever say how that gun got in?
That's-
Because it came from the outside of the park.
Oh, this
right?
is like, the shot fired from the grassy knoll in Dallas. I mean, we're never, ever going to know
Yeah.
what happened. But yeah, they did allege that a woman was so big that she hid the gun in a fat fold. That was a possibility. It was all crazy. But anyway, okay, I got that off my chest.
Fat shaming.
All right, have you seen the Jeffrey Epstein list?
I have.
And any names that you know? I mean, Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
Well, hello, where did that come? My
Yeah.
kids are the one who told me about that. They said, well, Mom, you know,
How?
Stephen Hawking was on the
I'm
list.
still figuring out how was he able.
What do you mean? He was on the island. So was David
know, but-
Copperfield. So was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Bill Richardson.
Yeah. See, the list, I don't think the list is of importance. I think that black book is more important than the list. Because just being there with him, you know, but you show the black book that they've buried.
Uh-huh.
Who's in that black book? That's where the real story is.
Well, these depositions have been sealed since 2016, and it's going to be a slow roll of information. But of course, the mainstream media was so excited to jump on Trump because
Of
Trump's on
course.
the list. But guess what? Have you ever been to West Palm?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a tiny town.
Everybody
and
knows
I'll tell
each
you, if you live there for a month, you're going to know everybody and anybody.
That's
it's
true.
that small of a town. So this is Trump. They used to be friends, but he learned of his alleged friendship and then ended it. This is Trump in 2019.
I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his.
But Bill Clinton, who has maintained all along that he was never on the island.
Yeah.
Turns out he was on the island.
Ooh.
I mean, that's about as shocking as finding Mike Pence at church.
No.
I'm kidding. That came from Greg Gutfeld. But that the whole thing about this story, too, that bothers me is that reporters knew years ago. Remember Amy Robach? She used to
I
work
do.
at- yeah.
Yeah.
And she was on Nightline, and she'd been working on this story for 3 years because this has been going on. He's had sex slaves at various places. New York, his apartment in New York. He had sex slaves in West Palm. He had them on that island, and he had them at a place in France.
Wow.
Because he was a sex
He's a
addict.
trafficker,
Well,
too,
he's a
right?
trafficker, but
Yeah.
he had to have. I mean, one of the victims was interviewed on ABC News. After they let Amy finally tell her story, she said he was a sex addict. He had to have a certain amount of massages every day,
Wow.
and he used those older girls to recruit younger girls in West Palm.
Yeah.
And people knew about it,
Yeah.
and they did nothing because he had money and he had influence and he had power.
Right.
So here's Amy Robach, and just listen to what she says. She's sitting on the set of Dateline, and she's kind of complaining to a coworker. Her microphone is still on, and just listen up.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Shame on the mainstream media. But that's another graphic example of why you can't trust them.
Yeah.
And that attorney that she was talking about, Bradley Edwards, he's been representing 70 trafficking victims to Jeffrey Epstein. And this is what she had to say about President Trump's involvement, which there was no involvement.
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They got into it so badly. And, you know, years ago, Trump gave Vanity Fair an interview, said, you know, Epstein's a nice guy, or he's a great guy, and he hangs out with a lot of beautiful women. So the mainstream media is trying to attach that to who's not on the island.
Right.
Bill Clinton on the island. This is Jennifer Freeman, real quick. I want to get this in here, who represents the victim who allegedly was with Bill Clinton.
A victim reported being on a helicopter with him and with Maxwell. There's another statement that she made that Clinton was on the island, which is very different than what we'd heard previously. We were heard that he wasn't on the island. Again, hard to say who to believe, of course, but he was on the island, but didn't take the bait. In other words, didn't have sexual relationships with any of the girls.
To be continued, but lost in all of this. Anybody seem to care about the girls who were roped into being sex slaves?
Exactly. Epstein
who were then pressured and they tried to leave. They couldn't leave.
Yeah.
And then Epstein ends up dead.
Can you imagine why? I mean, can you imagine him on the stand?
Oh, he couldn't. I mean,
Epstein didn't kill himself. That's the moniker that
completely agree.
I can't see it because he has too much dirt on too many people.
And there's more to come. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, you will never believe who is out on bond. But first, let's stop by the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
5:32 on AM 560, The Answer. 28 degrees this morning, and we're headed for a snow event this weekend. President Biden will hold a campaign event today marking the third anniversary of the Capitol rioting on January 6th. The White House says the president will try and argue that democracy is on the line again this year in a presidential election. State flags are ordered at half-staff in Iowa in support of the city of Perry following another deadly school shooting. Fox's Jeff Manasso has details.
6 people were shot inside Perry High School Thursday just before classes. 4 students and the principal injured. A 6th grade boy who was inside the high school was killed.
This strikes at the heart of everything that we hold dear. This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core, and I want this community to know that every Iowan stands with you.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds saying the fast response from police saved lives. The gunman, a 17-year-old senior at the school who was armed with a shotgun and a handgun, killed himself. Very few other details as investigators begin unpacking the how and the why. All Perry schools will be closed today. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Israel is announcing its plan for the future of Gaza once the war is over. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant saying that Palestinian bodies will be in charge with the condition there will be no hostile action toward Israel. There's an evacuation order out for portions of South Korea after North Korea fired more than 200 rounds of artillery shells near the coast. The island about 540 miles west of Seoul. Right now, South Korea's defense ministry says the shells have not caused any damage. A letter recently delivered to a family in Illinois 80 years after it was written. It was originally penned in 1943 to Louis and Lavina George in the city of DeKalb. It was lost in the mail for decades until an unnamed postal worker tracked down the only 2 surviving members of the George family and delivered it to them. 5 people with a voting rights group funded by Democrats and progressives are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in the state of Illinois.
Because we do not release anything related to objections until they are in the hands of a hearing officer. That's not going to happen until January 17th.
Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich says they can't discuss the nature of the objections. Sun-Times says the objectors are using the 14th Amendment like others in Colorado and Maine. Objections will be dealt with by the election board and then perhaps Illinois courts. Meantime, presidential candidates are filing to appear on the March Illinois primary ballot, including representatives for Democrat President Joe Biden and Republican challengers, all filing petitions yesterday. A Round Lake Beach woman was arrested Thursday after a juvenile male was found unresponsive and later died at a nearby hospital. 45-year-old Kara Ulrich was arrested Thursday, charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of endangering the life or health of a child. Chicago sports. Bears hope to knock off the Packers this weekend and knock the rivals out of the postseason at Lambeau Field on Sunday. Sunday's game has been set for a 3:25 kickoff. Blackhawks had no offense in a 4-1 loss to the Rangers at MSG. Bulls take on Charlotte tonight. Number 8 Fighting Illini try to knock off the number 1 team in the land when they visit Purdue at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. That's a game tonight at 7:30. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a major divide.
A former president and the leading contender for the nomination for president of one of the 2 parties could not be on the ballot in the state of Colorado. This is a dividing line that is unbridgeable. It was a despicable, America-crushing decision by tyrants. They're just tyrants.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Have you saved enough? What are you going to do with Social Security? What will your taxes look like in retirement? Scott Tucker believes retirement planning should be easy, and you should be able to get all the information you need in one place. That's why Scott created the Retirement Decoded Toolkit, a comprehensive resource for your retirement. In it, you'll find a copy of his latest book, Escape Illinois: Should I Stay or Should I Go? This book will provide insight on taxes, Social Security, income, and more. To get your free Retirement Decoded Toolkit, text KIT, K-I-T, to 847-474-3888 or go to retirementdecoded.com. Now, in addition to the book, you'll also receive resources on retirement's most common concerns. Get your Retirement Decoded Toolkit from Scott Tucker right now by texting KIT to 847-474-3888 or go to retirementdecoded.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. A registered investment advisor, this is a paid placement.
Make the hiring process work for you. With Indeed's end-to-end hiring solution, you can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
5:39. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Winfield, good morning. Roosevelt Road and Winfield Road, report of an accident there. Niles at accident, Milwaukee and Toohey being shoved out of your way. Dan Ryan Express lanes already jammed inbound between 33rd and the Stevenson. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Mostly cloudy and 37 today. Overcast, bit of snow after midnight. Not much accumulation, low 31. More accumulation tomorrow with flurries, high 36. Sunday, a little light snow in the morning, high 37. 28 at O'Hare, 28 Midway, cloudy there. Partly cloudy and 25 in Aurora, 29 along the lakefront. And your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
All right, phone lines are open, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. You know, I made a tease before this segment saying, you'll never believe who's out on bond.
Yeah.
But I was wrong.
Yeah.
He's
Well, I
not
was
out on
shocked.
bond, but he still has bond. He can
Yeah.
still be out on bond. And, of course, we're talking about Deobra. Is it?
Deobra?
Oh, gee, here we go. Deobra Redden. We'll just call him Redden by his last name. He's that thug who launched himself Superman style over the judge's desk and tackled her and 3 other people.
Yeah.
You might remember, but you have to see it. But this is what it was.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
It wasn't going down easy.
No. He was throwing haymakers, too.
And that's his family yelling at him to stop.
Hey, get off her! Get off her! Oh man, you're good, stop.
See the guy in the suit? Like, if you watch the video, there's this guy in the suit just wailing on him.
That athletic ability. I mean, it looked as if it was a Saturday Night Live skit, as if there was a trampoline there, like a bouncy house where he just and launched himself over. But this guy is a bad dude. But before this, there's a lot of things people have not heard, is him begging for forgiveness, saying that he has reformed his life.
Yeah.
Jonathan, he's not angry anymore, okay? He's a new man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to tell the courts and everyone here, like, based on my criminal history, like, I feel that, like, I shouldn't be, like, sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
I actually just, I looked at it.
I mean, you lived it, I suppose.
I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison, but if it's appropriate for you, then you have to do what you have to do.
Oh, he's so nice. I mean, wasn't he nice and
Yeah.
calm?
Yeah.
And he said, if you have to do what you have to do. Well, then she did what she had to do. But he shouldn't even have been there in the first
No.
place. First of all, bond should be denied.
Should be no bond.
And yesterday he had a court appearance, but he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Because now he's been charged with 7 new charges.
Yeah. He probably just didn't come out.
dislocated. He dislocated Marshall's shoulder. Has 4 stitches on the forehead. Her law clerk. Did you see him kind of punching like a girl?
Yeah, that's the dude in
I
the
gotta
suit,
teach,
right?
Yeah, dude in the suit.
Yeah.
We need to teach him. You do this.
Yeah.
He's hitting it like a girl. Like, stop it. But at least he tried, and he genuinely cares about his boss.
A little beta, but okay.
He picked up with a baby. But tell us about his arrest record. 'Cause
So-
this judge has seen this defendant before.
Yeah, she actually gave him probation at one point. So I guess it started in 2012. He was convicted of assault causing bodily injury to a family member. A judge just sentenced him to 45 days. That was 2012. 2013, he was convicted 3 times for domestic battery.
Oh, jeez.
He was ordered to attend anger management classes, spend 2 months in jail, and pay a fine in 3 cases. 2014, he was convicted for attempted theft. A judge sentenced him to probation, which he violated several times, and then he was ordered to enter a mental health court program. So it said while he was on probation in 2014, Redden was twice convicted of domestic battery, tampered with his alcohol monitoring bracelet, and violated other terms.
Oh,
he was also
God.
charged with kicking a police officer in the knee. So also during his probation in 2018,
yes,
He was convicted of battery with substantial bodily harm. In that case, he bit a woman and broke the windows of a man's car with a rock. Again, a judge sentenced Redden to probation. Then, in 2020 and 21, a judge honorably discharged him from probation. And then in 2021, he was convicted again for domestic battery. A different judge sentenced Redden to prison for a term of 12 to 30 months. A board granted him parole in 2022. Also in 2021, geez, she's right.
This guy is busy.
Police charged Redden with attempted home invasion and destroying the property of another person.
Yeah, I know he used a baseball bat in that case.
Yeah, and then January.
So this is a bad dude.
Yeah, then the charges that's why he was before her.
But this is the lawlessness that we have in Democratic counties.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think that could happen here?
Of course, I'm sure it's happened here.
These thugs feel so emboldened that they, attack a judge. And 3 other people.
Yeah. It's just listen. I'm one of the biggest mental health advocates. Sometimes it's not mental health; it's just evil. Some people are just pure evil, and you have to call it for what it is: evil, not mental health. This is a guy who just dealt with some stuff in his life, and is now just evil. I mean, did you see how he cleared that bench? He literally cleared the bench and just took her out. Oh no!
No, I know.
Gosh, I didn't say that, but I mean,
the Bears might need him.
This is coming to Illinois and other states that have adopted these policies.
Well, luckily the judge did not get injured, but the judge brought this upon herself too. But she's seen him before.
Yes.
She knows his song and dance routine.
Yes.
Shame on her.
Yes. She put him on probation.
And have him deny him bail right now.
Correct.
And do you think he was in his cell yesterday?
I think
he didn't
he
show
probably
up
just
for his
didn't come
court
out.
appearance.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's go to Willie on the south side. Hold on one second. Willie. There you go. Hi, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Hi, Amy. Previously, when you said get out on bond, I thought it was going to be, I was guessing it was going to be the fireman that chased the kid down and shot him and tried to murder him. The judge just let him out free, no money. That's what I thought you were going to name.
The road rage incident on Foster and Ashland?
Yeah, chased him down and shot the kid in the mouth.
I know.
That's who I thought you were talking about.
I'm not sure if that gentleman's out on bond, but yeah, I know. And his attorney, the firefighter's attorney, says there's a different side to that story that we don't know. So.
Oh, of course.
Well, he has no prior. Well, wait, hold on a second.
Yes, he does have priors. Yes, he
his priors. The firefighter has priors. You can't be a firefighter and have priors.
In Colorado.
Oh, in Colorado. Do you know what those charges are?
Domestic violence.
Okay. And did he spend any time in jail, or what do you know?
Regardless, he's out on bond for murder. He shot a kid in the mouth.
Okay. Thank you.
No bond.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to
Willie,
look this story up.
Well, it was.
Look it up.
And when I found out too.
It's a double standard.
But Willie, do you know how many people have been charged with rape or sexual assault, they call it, armed robbery, carjackings, second-degree murder, and are out on bond on electronic monitoring? We have about 95.
The county jail are full of people like that.
No, they're out on electronic monitoring. There is no bond in the whole state of Illinois, Willie. We don't have bond.
Well, that's what I thought you were talking about, that creep that shot that kid in the mouth.
All right, thanks, Willie. I mean, I don't feel unsafe having that Chicago firefighter out on bond.
No.
We don't have bond. I mean, on electronic monitoring.
So this happened here in Chicago?
Yeah, it happened on New Year's Day, and during the day. It was right by.
So it was road rage case.
It was right. Yes, it was at Foster and Ashland, and he's still with the fire department. He's on leave with pay.
He's on electronic monitoring. He's just not out though. He's on electronic monitoring.
He hasn't been cleared of any charges.
Right.
He has been charged, and he will have his day in court.
Wow.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel. Not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
This is Seth Leibson of 960thepatriot.com for townhall.com. The forces of war and evil are exploding everywhere. In the Middle East, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. One might even call it pandemonium. Our allies are at risk, our enemies, and the enemies of our allies are unrelenting. Add to this, we're looking at an unprecedented free-for-all invasion at our southern border. This election year is looking a lot like 1980. In that campaign, Ronald Reagan said, quote, "We know only too well that war comes not when the forces of freedom are strong, but when they are weak. It is then that tyrants are tempted. We simply cannot learn these lessons the hard way again without risking our destruction." Close quote. Tragically, we are learning these lessons the hard way. One can only remember where the world was from the Middle East to Europe to Central America in 1980 and imagine the nightmare it could have become were Ronald Reagan not elected. We're getting that same sense right now. President Biden needs to be defeated. I'm Seth Leibson.
We feel like doing more. Yeah, we're 83 and 84 years old, and we're talking about buying a pontoon boat. What's that tell you? We may say, hey, come out and film us.
I've just been doing great, and I just feel like it's a definite advantage to take them. Well, let me just say one other thing. I mentioned to my doctor that I was taking Balance of Nature, and they said they were very positive about that. And they said that was really good. That's a good product, and so I've been very pleased.
Step into the new year with a new you. Start your journey to better health by going to balanceofnature.com and signing up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Chronic pain, it can ruin your marriage, bring on depression. It's no way to live. But now there's a non-surgical way to get rid of that hip, back, and joint pain. It's called QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Did you know that your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue? And QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Hundreds of board-certified QC Kinetic providers have treated tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People like you and me with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. Folks, this is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again. Get your life back. And listen, it's non-surgical. So fight back against the pain. Take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. This is the number, 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Amy Jacobson here on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer. I wanted to take just a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who's participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign over the past month. Because of your generosity, we've raised nearly $200,000 to provide food for an entire year for over 4,700 children in Latin America and the Caribbean. We especially want to thank the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. This year, when you hear their commercials airing on this station, please support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over, that doesn't mean that the need has gone away. You can still make a tax-deductible gift of any amount to Food for the Poor by visiting 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. That's 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. And on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer and at Food for the Poor, thanks again for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Of course, there's more to the story about the Chicago firefighter who allegedly got into a road rage incident.
Yeah. So it said that they both ran a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, that's not the firefighter, was allegedly drunk.
Yes.
So they chased him. He hit other cars.
So the firefighter was trying to be a vigilante.
Correct.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think so. But it said that he allegedly that. This is why I always say wait until the investigation is over. But we're in so much of a rush today because we're gotcha. Look, see, we told you these
bad
people.
Cop, bad firefighter, bad city worker.
Just wait until it's all done because it says in this report from CBS News that he got out with his gun. He never told him he'd shoot him. The guy tried to wrestle his gun away from him. That's when he shot him. And the way the caller, Willie, made it sound as if he got out of his car, ran after the guy, caught up with him, and then shot him. That's not what's being reported.
Okay.
This is why I say just wait. Stop for the rush to judgment and just allow the investigations to play out.
Cool your heels, everybody. All right. The first permits. Sorry. The DNC's coming to Chicago in August. Excited?
No.
Well, the first permits for rallies during the DNC have been filed in Chicago. I want you to meet two people. Andy Thayer. He's a Chicago gay activist, and this is why he's filing for a permit.
The fact of the matter is the Democrats have used our issues to gain electoral advantage and then given us the bare minimum.
Ooh. Gay communities fighting back against the Democratic Party. They want to march on Michigan Avenue the day before.
Wow.
And joining the gay community is the Chicago for Abortion Rights Committee. Meet Linda Liu.
The pressure that a huge, massive number of people, which we have not yet seen be brought to bear, is what we are bringing to the streets so that everybody in attendance at the Democratic National Convention will hear us.
I think your abortion rights are safe here in Illinois.
Yeah.
We're a Mecca, we're an abortion haven.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, not only that, but our tax dollars are paying for people's abortions. I wonder who's funding too. And
Out of
the people
staters,
from,
too?
well,
Yeah, I'm
of
just
course.
being facetious.
And then they want to put license plate blockers on the
Yeah.
border because they think Republicans are actually going to chase people from out of state who come and get abortions. No, that's not happening. Okay, Lexi Giannoulias, Governor Pritzker.
Did he really?
Oh
say that?
yeah, I was at that press conference. I went, "You really think we're going to put up a border wall or a security camera?"
Oh, they believe in walls now?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
To stop people and women from coming in or leaving.
Yeah. Okay, Amy.
They've lost their minds.
The DNC.
Yes.
I am staying far away from Chicago. I will
Why?
not come. Are you, Amy?
I'm going to be there at the United
Center.
Center.
Oh my God! You better carry with you.
Oh, I'm going to carry. You know who wants the DNC kicked out? Father Flager.
You know, the crisis of homelessness has spiked to a new level in Chicago with the influx of asylum seekers and the migrants. Our shelters are filled. We have people living on our streets. We have people living on the bridges. We get 80 to 100 people come to our doors here every single day looking for food cards, looking for coats, looking for clothes. And I think we as a country have continued to ignore the homeless issue. But the migrant issue now has taken it to a whole new level. So I just think it's time to address it. And with the Democratic Convention coming, we must force them to say, is this going to be a policy to eradicate homelessness in Chicago and in this country? We've sent billions of dollars to Ukraine, billions of dollars to Israel, but we don't have billions of dollars. We say it's important to house Americans who are here.
I can't really deny anything he's really saying. Sounds like a Republican right there.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, guess who's implementing non-sanctuary resolutions in Illinois? We'll tell you who and why. It is now 6 a.m. WIND Chicago.
He's headed back to the Middle East.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's trip aims to prevent the war in Gaza from broadening as Israel keeps attacking Hamas.
As the Israelis released new information about what they are finding amid this operation. They say they've destroyed new tunnel shafts and also targeted a number of Hamas anti-tank guided missile cells.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. President Biden will campaign today in Pennsylvania, touting himself as a protector of democracy. Marking 3 years since the Capitol riot. Its anniversary is tomorrow. There's a new attempt to take former President Trump off the ballot, this time by voters in Illinois, claiming he led an insurrection that day. Trump lawyer Lena Habba expects the Supreme Court to take care of these ballot issues, telling Fox.
I think it'll clarify a lot of confusion amongst the states, amongst these rogue people like the woman we see in Maine who's not even a lawyer.
That means Secretary of State. Colorado Supreme Court also ruled he shouldn't be on the ballot, claiming the former president violated a constitutional insurrection provision, though Trump has not been charged with that crime. Another batch of documents are out in a case related to Jeffrey Epstein, the wealthy financier who committed suicide before going on trial for sex trafficking minors. The documents name celebrities and other high-profile people who were in Epstein's social scene, but that does not implicate them in any crime. Bill Clinton is named again.
Epstein accuser Virginia Joffrey says the former president, quote, walked into Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend. Now, Clinton's team did not directly respond to that with a statement. Instead, they pointed us to this Telegraph article that says, quote, there is no evidence to support the claims, and they were strenuously denied by a representative for Vanity Fair's longtime former editor.
Fox's Brooks Sigmund. Oscar Pistorius is a free man released from prison on parole in South Africa this morning. Almost 11 years after Pistorius, the double amputee Olympian known as the Blade Runner, murdered his girlfriend. America's listening to Fox News.
28 degrees in Chicago. 6:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 with a voting rights group funded by progressives and Democrats are challenging Republican Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich says right now they can't discuss the nature of the objections.
Because we do not release anything related to objections until they are in the hands of a hearing officer. That's not going to happen until January 17th.
Now, the Sun-Times reports objectors using the 14th Amendment claim that Trump is barred for encouraging protests at the U.S. Capitol January 6 of 2021. Meantime, presidential candidates are filing to appear on the March Illinois primary ballot, including President Joe Biden and Republican challengers. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's billionaire cousin Thomas Pritzker is named in newly released documents related to the late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Wednesday evening's release of nearly 40 different documents include a deposition with Epstein victim Virginia Joffrey saying she had sexual relations at one time with Tom Pritzker, the executive director of the Hyatt Hotels Corporation, CEO of the Pritzker Organization, and cousin to the Illinois governor. Asked in 2019 about his cousin's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, Pritzker said he was unaware that they knew each other.
And so I hope that the justice system will pursue the allegations that were made to the fullest extent of the law and make sure that the victims get the justice that they deserve.
Spokesman for Tom Pritzker told the Daily Mail, quote, he vehemently, end quote, denies any allegation. A Round Lake Beach woman was arrested Thursday after a juvenile male was found unresponsive and later died at a nearby hospital. 45-year-old Kara Ulrich was arrested Thursday and charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of endangering the life or health of a child. Chicago firefighter accused of shooting a man in an alleged road rage incident released on electronic monitoring. Omateo Kasim was charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery related to a New Year's Eve incident. And service on the CTA Yellow Line is finally resuming today, 7 weeks after a train crash left nearly 20 hospitalized. Bears hope to knock their longtime rivals out of the postseason when they visit the Packers at Lambeau on Sunday. Sunday's game kicks at 3:25. Blackhawks lost to the Rangers 4-1 at Madison Square Garden, and Connor Bedard becomes the youngest All-Star in NHL history yesterday. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today, and a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka knows where the hate is coming from.
Despite the fringe elements, the institution, whether it's the president of Harvard or whether it's, the Democrats walking down with the LGBT for Hamas, the institutionalized Jew hatred is coming almost exclusively from the left in the West.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Do relationships today seem harder than ever? In the world of IT management and infrastructure, what if you had a business partner that thinks like you, is easy to work with, and just seems to get it? MS Consulting Services has been doing this for 25 years. But don't listen to us, listen to some actual customers.
This is Bruno. I work for a medical software company. Being in this field, trust is very important. MS Consulting has been my trusted partner for almost 20 years. They are experienced, dependable, and honest. They do not try to oversell. They truly want to help and are willing to go out of their way to prove it.
Hi, my name's Gary. MS Consulting Services was laser focused on understanding the needs of our business. It was a priority to them to understand the needs of our customers. They're not just helpful, they really are experts at what they do.
So if you want a relationship like this, call John at 1-800-MIT-0404. You'll be glad you did.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Things are okay on the Edens and the Kennedy this morning. Stevenson, though, already brake lights. Ashland into the Dan Ryan and slow traffic on the inbound Ryan ramp. Reagan Memorial accident just cropped up. It's blocking 2 lanes on the exit ramp. It's an off-ramp to southbound Route 59. Traffic is squeezing by using only the left-hand shoulder. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Mostly cloudy skies today. Look for a high of 37. A little bit of snow at times late tonight. Little or no accumulation, low 31. Flurries tomorrow, a high 36. Snow on Sunday morning, little or no accumulation, high 37. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
28 at O'Hare, 28 Midway, partly cloudy, 25 in Aurora, and 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Busy Friday morning here on AM 560, The Answer. Amy Jacobson here, John Anthony.
Hey.
In for Dan Proft, who we believe is at FatCon in Seattle. No, I bet he's golfing somewhere, having fun. Good for him. We love it when you're in.
We don't have a live correspondent there.
No. Well, Dan would suggested that I go. I should.
They shame you, though.
Oh, no.
Who's this skinny girl?
What you're talking about. All right, well, game on. New York's Mayor Eric Adams, he has a new way to fight the buses that are coming into New York.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's suing the bus companies. Oh, he made this big declarative statement yesterday.
New York City has and will continue to do our part to manage this humanitarian crisis. But we cannot bear the cost of reckless political ploys from the state of Texas alone. Today, our administration filed a lawsuit against 17 companies that have taken part in Texas Governor Greg Abbott's scheme to transport tens of thousands of migrants to New York City in an attempt to overwhelm our social services system. These companies have violated state law by not paying the cost of caring for these migrants. And that's why we are suing to recoup approximately $700 million already spent to care for migrants bused here in the last 2 years by the state of Texas. Governor Abbott's continuing use of migrants as political pawns is not only chaotic and inhumane, but makes clear he puts politics over people. Today's lawsuit should serve as a warning to all those who break the law in this way.
312-642-5600. Is that going to do it? Is that going to be effective?
No, he got his
And how
marching
soon
orders.
till it happens here in Chicago? Because whatever Mayor Adams does and Brandon Johnson does and the mayor of Colorado, Los Angeles, going after the bus companies, because guess what they're going to do?
Yeah.
Then they're going to fly them in.
Huh.
Just like they did on Christmas or New Year's Eve. They had a 777. That's a big bird.
Oh, look
you
at
know what I
you.
mean?
Watch
Big
it.
bird. I know I got to watch my mouth.
Buddy.
From San Antonio to Rockford, Chicago Airport, with 340 passengers on it.
Yeah. John Cabello came out against that state rep.
Oh,
he
yeah.
slammed it.
Well, a lot of municipalities are getting a little squirmy, getting a little squishy, getting a little, no, not in my backyard. In Hinsdale, they've had 17 buses since I've seen you last.
Yeah.
Dropping people off at the metro station. They're wearing blankets and,
I actually broke that on Sean Thompson's show.
Oh, you did?
I had Dennis Rebolletti, former state rep, running for state rep and Addison Township supervisor on, and he was getting the information sent to him while we were on air, and I broke that with Elmhurst, Hinsdale.
Yeah.
The buses were just rolling.
3,000 plus in DuPage County alone.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was telling Dan this too. In Palatine, or 2 days ago now, they had a bus, the migrant bus come in. 40 people got off. They wouldn't let them off.
Really?
The one person got on. They're like, no, back. Palatine police like, get back on. And then they gave the bus driver. This is a drop-off location. It's at Polk and Des Plaines, which, by the way, they're going to erect 4 warming tents there. We're back to talking tents, but we'll get into that with Alderman Brian Hopkins at the 7 o'clock. So then they pushed them back on the bus, and then they police escorted them. One in front, one in back. Like, we got a convoy here.
I don't
got
blame
them
them.
to 53, followed them to 90, and then peeled off.
Yeah, I don't blame them. You want to pass these ordinances to make yourself a sanctuary city. Guess what? Take the brunt of it. I'm sorry. What Greg Abbott is doing is masterful in my opinion.
What is Texas going to do? House 9 million more people?
Correct. How many has the Biden administration sent to New York? How many has the Biden administration sent to Illinois, Chicago? By way of a flight, however they're doing it. The people that waiting.
Well, different government agencies are doing different things.
That's my point.
And here's some. We'll quickly before we get to Mayorkas, who's just an absolute buffoon, and I'm so glad he's going to be impeached. Hinsdale residents celebrated because now the bus company will be fined $750 per person that gets off. Yeah. And they'd impound the bus.
So why go after the bus company?
They're doing the same thing in Woodstock. They're doing the same thing.
Why go after the bus company?
But the people are celebrating. These liberals who are so warming that have the hate has no home signs in their front yard. They're happy that this ordinance was passed.
I'm delighted. It was the right decision. Unfortunately, 10 days too late.
Having this open door policy has become chaos.
I think the ordinance is a good thing. I think the key word is unscheduled.
And in Joliet, they took
that's
it
my
up.
hometown. That's where I'm living.
Well, these are your peeps, okay? No, they're really upset, as they should be, but this is their reasoning for not wanting to be a welcoming city. Because just face it, you're not.
We don't know their criminal backgrounds.
We want to guard our city. We are seeing what's happening in other cities around us.
We're seeing what's happening in Chicago, and this border crisis is much more than a crisis. It's an epidemic.
312-642-5600.
That voice sounds
She's
familiar.
a black woman.
Yeah, that voice sounds
She's really
familiar.
beautiful on it.
I wonder if she's on the city council.
No, she was speaking at the lectern
Okay.
in public comment section.
Send me that video.
Okay.
I think I know that. I know that voice. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you support your fellow Joliettans?
I don't want him in. Don't bring him to Joliet. No, we already got our own issues and problems. We don't need more. I mean, sounds like I remember a person coming down an escalator saying these exact same things back in 2015. I know. These same and he said what would happen if we allowed what's happening to happen, but nobody listened. He cleaned it up, but then Joe Biden, who's in my opinion, he and his administration, they are at fault here. Don't blame Abbott. Joe Biden, his administration, Mayorkas, the Department of Justice, all of them are at fault. Not Abbott. He's doing what he should be doing. He's being a leader. I'm fit to be tied with this.
Oak Lawn, Schaumburg, Elk Grove Village, they all passed similar measures taxing extended hotel and motel stays. So if somebody stays beyond 30 days, then there's going to be $1,000 per person tax. So that's why they're not being dropped off at hotels. Elk Grove Village, they want to take it a little step further, and they want to check people's documentations or diagnosis for contracting contagious diseases, possibly in the past 60 days. So it's just, but guess what? You ready for this?
Yeah.
Grundy County.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Grundy County.
Uh-oh.
No, you didn't. Yes, they did. They have declared themselves a non-sanctuary county.
Chris Balkema.
Woo!
Oh.
LaSalle County, west of Grundy, is likely to consider the same resolution on January 11th.
Yeah, that's Don Jensen. the
Non-sanctuary county.
Yeah.
How can we have this here?
Yeah. Well, you got some leaders there. Chris Balkman running Grundy County and Don Jensen in LaSalle County. That's what I represented those counties when I was state rep. And so I know these guys, they also have a 2A sanctuary too, basically. Yeah.
Really?
Come on.
Well, Brandon Johnson's having none of it. He was on CNN. Where is that? Well, he says our city's under attack from Texas.
The issue is not just how we respond in the city of Chicago. It's the fact that we have a governor, an elected official in the state of Texas that is placing families on buses without shoes, cold, wet, tired, hungry, afraid, traumatized, and then they come to the city of Chicago where we have homelessness, we have mental health clinics that have been shut down and closed. You have people who are seeking employment. The governor of Texas needs to take a look in the mirror of the chaos that he is causing for this country.
No,
this is not just
Biden looks to look at himself in the mirror. And they're having this emergency meeting, Mayor Johnson is, with congressional members today behind closed doors. Not about stopping the hemorrhaging of people coming in, but about getting more federal funding.
Right. But Amy, you can make that exact same speech about the people of Illinois. He can make those exact same speech about people who are hurting, the veterans are. I mean, make that speech. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not sorry. What's happening? This invasion that's happening to our country is going to cripple us if we don't get a leader in here, a strong man in here who will say, I'm not having this. Remain in Mexico. You're not coming in here. You're not feeding off. And then Gavin Newsom wants to give him health insurance? Are we kidding?
Next thing you know, they'll be signing them up to vote. Mayorkas, he lies so well that I don't even think he knows he's lying anymore.
Yeah.
He was on with Brett Baer.
Would it surprise you to hear that CBP sources say that currently they are releasing more than 70% of the migrants crossing every day, and sometimes more than that number, higher than 70%? Would that surprise you?
It would not. It would not surprise me at all. I know the data, and I will tell you that when individuals are released, they are released into immigration enforcement proceedings. They are on alternatives to detention, and we have returned or removed a record number of individuals. We are enforcing the laws that Congress has passed.
I mean, I don't even want to hear from. I'm not even going to play the second bite because I can't stand it.
I just can't wait to see. He should have been impeached.
Well, they're starting an impeachment process.
Yeah, but Kevin, this is one of the things Kevin McCarthy should have did right away. Right away. When you saw that invasion happening in our country, because this is a national security issue.
They had more people come into this country in the month of December than any record they've ever kept. 300,000 plus. That's a Rose Bowls, 8 Rose Bowls. Wow. Stadiums full of people. Here's a black Chicago resident, female, CPS teacher who's had enough.
The purpose of this ordinance is a communication.
The elected officials in Illinois have an obligation to their constituents, to the people that they claim to work for, to the people that have elected them, and we're being ignored, and it has to stop.
So, John Anthony.
Wait, did she get that passed through the CTU to say that, though?
Well, the crisis at the border convinced the black community to vote for Trump. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro.
You heard what Mark Carter said. Mark Carter, he said, Trump, come to Illinois. Mm-hmm. Come to Illinois. Let's have this conversation. And that's happening across the country, Amy.
312-642-5600. I'm never on this side, so I'm going to stretch. Tracy and Mantino, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Good morning. I love you. I listen to you every morning, Dan and Amy. And John, I try to get you every weekend on Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
I'm calling a week ago. I mean, before all this, and now I saw it even in the newspaper, and I read. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I get to write it all. I'm up to date. So we had a busload in Kankakee County.
Yep.
And they got dropped off on 57, and they dropped them off at University Park at the Metro, drop them off, and nobody talked about it. Very few did. But then again, when it comes up to Hinsdale, Winnetka, all the northern side, oh my God, it's a controversy. It's like Martha's Vineyard all over again. It's like, it's pathetic. We don't have the resources. I'm Kankakee County. Oh, it's a big county. But we only have 100,000 residents. That's it.
Wait, didn't you guys just have to lay off some sheriff's deputies? And
thanks, Tracy.
Yeah, because Kankakee County, I mean, the tax base isn't there. Hinsdale and all that, Elmhurst.
Oh, yeah.
They matter more.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
The fluffy mansions. Joey T. in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Uh-oh, trouble.
Hi. No. Good morning, you guys. Just stop it. Listen, I want to just thank all of you, John, Amy. You are the balance to Dan. Dan's like 3 levels above my brain cells, but he makes some wonderful points all the time. I relate to you more. You're more on my level, so I love you for that. Thank you for everything that you guys do on this radio station. But I just want to mention one thing on the conversation you guys were just talking about. Go to a DMV. They're all trying to get IDs. They're all trying to get driver's licenses. The people in the state of Illinois can't get driving tests. Nobody speaks English anymore. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Mm-hmm. Nobody. And I asked my in-laws who, when they were alive, came here from another country, how did you learn how to speak English? You know what my father-in-law told me? I went to the park district every week to learn how to speak. You can't even go to the park district because, as you mentioned in the past, Amy, these facilities are filled, and they don't have the programs for the residents and what they need to help them
and we're
with.
paying taxes for facilities that I can't even get into to even see what they're doing with our tax dollars.
Right.
I know, but thank you guys so much. I love you. And John, that interview with Miss Lynn Patton was phenomenal.
Oh,
she's coming on today.
She's coming back on today at 8:00. For those of you who missed it,
oh my God,
ask
that
her
was
a fresh
fantastic.
round of questions.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, thank you all, and I love you, and I listen to you guys as often as I can.
Thank you, Joey
nice.
T. from Palatine. That's so sweet.
Amy, listen, I don't like this whole having to have a appointment to go to DMV. No,
Why?
stop. You got to have an appointment to go in. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of that. Because, we don't have a lot of people out there in
Maybe we can
Joliet.
save this for Open Mic Friday.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
About your
yes,
venting of the DMV.
I'm upset with it.
Oh, I love having an appointment.
No.
Larry in Elmhurst, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I think that appointment, though, was for seniors, if I'm not mistaken.
No, my daughter had to make one. It took her a month to go.
Everything changed with COVID, John. You should get with the times.
But anyway,
woosah.
I'm on Facebook with Governor Abbott, and I keep telling him to send them to Downers Grove, Western Springs, Tinley Park, Hinsdale. He must be listening, but I tell him not to send them to Orland Park. It's a Republican city there.
Well, they did send. I do believe you got a few buses.
No, send them up the coast.
I saw the
send them up
list
the coast. Bannockburn, Glen Cove.
Oh no, they need. I want some Kenilworth right
Kenilworth.
now.
Let's send them up there. Let's see what happens.
I'll do that today.
Put Kenilworth,
Glen
Lake
Cove.
Forest, Glencoe,
Bannockburn. Is it Bannockburn?
It's called Bannockburn.
Bannockburn.
That's the one city I never did a live shot in.
Really?
Never.
All
I
right,
don't know
I'll
why I
just get
said
the
that.
map out and I'll just
Because I
start
speak
putting
in
it
non
all
sequiturs. All right, thank you, Larry. Let's go to Tom in Blue Island. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, bro.
The gentleman that called from Palatine, I'm not sure if that was a compliment that he said that he prefers listening to this kind of conversation as opposed to what Dan's on.
That's not what he said.
Amy, no, I know he's just kidding. Amy, I wanted not to take a run at you, but your trade a little bit. It seems to me, I don't know if we could start a fund or something for someone with a microphone in front of this Eric Adams or Brandon Johnson when they're complaining about a few thousand quote-unquote migrants, a euphemism for illegal alien, and ask them, how do you think the governor of Texas feels? He's been overrun by millions of them.
Yeah,
and
8
if
million.
one person in the media just would ask that simple question, I would just love to see the look on their face. And
That's
John, if you remember, Johnny, if you remember Rocky III, it was the Rocky in which Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, became Rocky's trainer after Mickey had died. And Rocky and Apollo Creed are sitting watching a press conference, and Mr. T, Clubber Lang, is yapping and yapping and yapping, and then they phase back over to Carl Weathers, and he's just got this little look on his face, and he says, "You just keep talking."
Yep.
And
All right.
President Trump is Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Yes. And I would ask more questions at press conference. Johnson is not like Mayor Lightfoot, does not make himself available to reporters. No. And remember, he had a chance to visit the border, but he couldn't. You know why?
Because he's black.
What? What'd you say, John?
Because he's black.
Just to clarify, when is a team?
Soon as possible. Look, I'm still running a major city. I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it. I'm mayor. I get it. But you're asking me to give you a date, and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife. I have children. They have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago.
Wow.
I am going to the border as soon as possible. But I got to coordinate that with running the government and making sure that my wife and children are secure as well. Thank you, Lawrence.
Can you?
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, commercial property, or even vacant land, let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. She's reliable, responsive, personable, and extremely thorough when helping you deal with an otherwise stressful transaction. Attorney Kim leads with her values and is committed to providing legal services with excellence. To contact Attorney Kim, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com. Whether it's drafting agreements, negotiating contract terms, or closing on a property, attorney Susan J. Kim can do it all. Over 10 years of experience and her wealth of knowledge tackling complicated legal negotiations and breaking them down into a smooth, easy-to-understand process is what she does best. So let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. To schedule your legal consultation today, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com or call 847-906-3166. Susan J. Kim, attorney at law, is a state of Illinois licensed real estate attorney.
Amy Jacobson here on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer. I wanted to take just a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who's participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign over the past month. Because of your generosity, we've raised nearly $200,000 to provide food for an entire year for over 4,700 children in Latin America and the Caribbean. We especially want to thank the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. This year, when you hear their commercials airing on this station, please support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over, that doesn't mean that the need has gone away. You can still make a tax-deductible gift of any amount to Food for the Poor by visiting 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. That's 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. And on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer and at Food for the Poor, thanks again for your generosity.
My son was saying, Mom, why are you paying so much for this? The supplement store has the exact same thing. And I said, no, they don't. You know, because he was telling me that they have similar products as Balance of Nature. But then when he came over to my house and he looked at the label of the Balance of Nature about all the, ingredients and everything, he realized, oh, yeah, this is a superior product.
Step into the new year with a new you. Start your journey to better health by calling 1-800-246-8751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and signing up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
You sitting down, brother? Oh, yeah, you are. COVID cases are on the rise in Chicago. Cook County Department of Health says we have gone from low to medium. Here we go again. And 4 states are mandating masks in healthcare facilities. We're going to get the latest with our very dear friend, Dr. Richard Bartlett, at 6:38. Should we be concerned, and what are you going to do this time around? But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
6:32, 28 degrees, and here is what we're following in the newsroom at this hour. President Biden will hold a campaign event today, marking the 3rd anniversary of the January 6th Capitol rioting. Israel announcing plans for the future of Gaza once the war is over. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant outlining proposals today, saying, quote, Palestinian bodies will be in charge, end quote. An evacuation order that went out for a South Korean island after North Korea fired more than 200 rounds of artillery shells didn't cause any damage or injuries, but that act is raising tensions in South Korea. Presidential candidate Ron DeSantis is in a tense showdown with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley to win the Iowa caucuses. Florida governor gave an interview Thursday to the Des Moines Register and intensified attacks against his fellow GOP candidate.
I'm the only one that has a chance to beat Trump and win the general election. Nikki Haley can't get conservative voters. She's the darling of the never-Trumpers.
DeSantis also took shots at former President Trump, saying Trump, quote, does a better job inspiring Democrats to come out to vote, end quote. Also in Iowa, police confirm a 6th grade student is dead after an active shooter event at an Iowa high school.
Officers immediately attempted to locate the source of the threat and quickly found what appeared to be the shooter with a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Criminal Investigative Assistant Director Mitch Mortvedt says it happened during the first day back to school for students at Perry High. The 17-year-old shooter, who is a student, took his own life then and also left behind an explosive device that was defused. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds.
This strikes at the heart of everything that we hold dear. This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core.
Mortvedt says the 17-year-old shooter had 2 weapons with him. 5 people with a progressive and Democrat-funded voting rights group are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich says they can't discuss the nature of the objection.
Because
we do not release anything related to objections until they are in the hands of a hearing officer. That's not going to happen until January 17th.
The Sun-Times reporting objectors using the 14th Amendment claim that Donald Trump is barred for encouraging protest at the U.S. Capitol on January 6. A Round Lake Beach woman was arrested Thursday after a juvenile male was found unresponsive and later died at a nearby hospital. 45-year-old Cara Ulrich was arrested Thursday and charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of endangering the life or health of a child. An Orland Park man is charged with a hate crime after being accused of attacking a Palestinian neighbor. Police say Terrence Klein reportedly got into an altercation with another man over moving garbage cans on Wednesday. A Chicago man is behind bars accused of a road rage shooting on the Dan Ryan more than a year ago. The incident happened December of 2022. Darius Wilson has been charged. He was recently extradited from Florida. Bears and Packers at Lambeau on Sunday with a 3:25 kick, while the Blackhawks lost to the Rangers 4-1 at Madison Square Garden. We'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees the other side running scared.
These are a paranoid group of people. You do not pass laws preventing things that Trump can or cannot do, like leaving NATO, if you aren't legitimately afraid that he could become president. This is the best piece of evidence that I've seen that it's not just a game for Democrats.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-299-7878. That's 800-299-7878. 800-299-7878.
Make the hiring process work for you. With Indeed's end-to-end hiring solution, you can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
6:39. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and it is a service to you of Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes it easy to save money when you bundle your auto policy with your home or condo or renters, and you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Progressive.com. Reagan Memorial westbound, an accident is being cleared from the exit ramp to southbound Route 59. That's a major exit ramp, major interchange, and delays are beginning to evaporate, but watch out there. CTA loop trains are delayed at Washington and Wells. due to door problems on the trains. It's impacting brown, orange, pink, and purple lines this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast, mostly cloudy and 37 today. Overcast with snow showers overnight, low 31. Mostly cloudy and 28 at O'Hare, 29 at Midway, 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, weekday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm not ready, are you, for this to start all over again? Whew. Got an email from the Chicago Department of Public Health, the media blast. Hospitalizations related to COVID-19 are on the rise, moving Chicago and Cook County from low to medium, based on metrics from the CDC. As of just before Christmas, 30 people on average are being admitted daily to hospitals in Cook County, an increase of 14% from the previous week. That, as we've learned, that states are reviving the mandatory mask mandates in hospitals. Ready for this? We've mentioned it, but let's bring it up again. California, Massachusetts, New York, and Illinois and Washington, D.C. have mask mandates in hospitals, a move that comes as COVID-19 cases continue to surge in the Northeast and the Southeast. Anybody ready for this? Let's get more on this and see what's really happening with our good friend and returning guest, Dr. Richard Bartlett. Mr. Bartlett, how are you doing today, doctor?
Doing well, Amy. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, John. Good morning, Chicago.
And I know I should mention, too, that you practiced medicine in Texas for 28 years, probably 29 years now, and you served for former Governor Perry's health care task force. So should we be concerned about this latest strain of COVID?
You know, everything needs to be looked at through realistic lenses, and we've seen overblown statements for fear-mongering for the last 4 years. That's been a strategy. And hospitals in 5 states that you mentioned are starting to push masking, despite the fact that several weeks ago in the British Medical Journal, a report out of the British Medical Journal says, quote, current body of scientific data does not support masking for COVID-19. And so we have seen this for 40 years now, studies about masking for highly contagious respiratory viruses, whether it's the flu or COVID, and no evidence that it's effective. But don't confuse people with the science. There is a real issue of medical tyranny where things are forced against the science. And we've seen it with the vaccines. There are nurses that were fired in Illinois from hospitals for not receiving the COVID shots. And then a year later, they become millionaires because it was proven to be wrong in the court. So we've seen one thing after another, patients dying in hospitals alone, their loved ones not allowed to visit them. We've seen
people putting bags over their heads. What in God's name was that?
That was a level 2 trauma center in West Texas that was putting plastic equipment bags over patients' heads in the ER when they tested positive for COVID. One case was a teenager who had COVID. Her oxygen levels dropped into the 80s on her oxygen saturation at home. She tested positive for COVID at home, and her mother rightly brought her to the emergency room. I'm an emergency room doctor. Right now, I'm on duty in Amarillo, Texas, in the ER. And so I know what's happening, boots on the ground, front line. We are not seeing a overwhelming crisis with COVID. That's ridiculous. That's not true. And we've heard a lot of things that are not true. But this young lady, this teenager, goes to the ER. They do a swab in her nose. It's positive. And they whip out a plastic bag, just the same size as a large trash bag, and start to put it over her head. And she's already wearing a mask, which doesn't work. And the mother says, well, what are you doing to my daughter? And they said, this is what we do here. If you want our help, this is what we do. They didn't know what else to do otherwise, but the mother took a picture. Over 1,000 patients in a year's time had bags put over their head. When this was called out in the public and on the news, the hospital administrator doubled down and sent a letter to the news station saying, we're doing this to protect our workers from COVID. If you walked past a plate glass window of a daycare and you saw them putting a plastic bag over a child's head, what would you call that, Amy?
Child abuse, and I would run in and take the bag off of their head because they could
Because
suffocate?
you care about people, and you know that that's clearly wrong. We've been told don't put bags over your head, don't run with scissors, don't stick a fork in the outlet. And so common sense things have been thrown out the window for the last 4 years, including when this clown Anthony Fauci got on the news worldwide saying we're going to make a one-time, one-shot vaccine, hide in place, shelter in place. Hide in place is what that means until we make this one shot. And once people have enough of this shot in them, a high enough percentage of the population gets the shot, we're done. You'll get your normal life back. Did that happen?
No. And they also lied to us and said if you get vaccinated, you can't spread it to anybody else and you can't get COVID, which were both
And
colossal
the biggest
lies.
lie, the most dangerous misinformation that was ever spoken, in my opinion, is when Anthony Fauci got on the internet and they recruited Matthew McConaughey. And so Matthew McConaughey asked Anthony Fauci back in 2020, after I broke the news that we had an effective treatment that was inexpensive, readily available, and safe for COVID, budesonide, an inhaled steroid. Anthony Fauci was asked by Matthew McConaughey, what about budesonide for COVID? And Fauci said it doesn't work. There was a concerted effort to block this, even though Oxford proved in the STOIC trial, a randomized controlled trial, that 90% of the people who have COVID would not go to the hospital, in the ER, or even to an urgent care with COVID if they were treated early with budesonide. 90% with just that one medicine that costs $3 a treatment.
And you use a nebulizer.
Nobody was going to get rich off of it.
Well,
so
Doctor,
here's the thing. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I remember when I got COVID, Amy, you had given me some.
I gave you budesonide.
And it did work, but the pharmaceutical companies, they don't make that much money.
You have to go to a
so that's why.
pharmacy.
When you looking back over all this, do you think we got a false courage that the mask, when we were out wearing our masks, that led to the spread of this? And I really wish people have been listening during COVID, because you and I were sitting in with Dr. Bartlett. How many times did we have him on during COVID?
As many times as possible.
And if they had listened to those radio shows, they would have known how to get this under control just by the medicine that the doctor was prescribing. But do you think we had a false courage and that led to the spread, the rapid spread of COVID by saying that these masks work?
Oh, we had a pandemic in 2009 with a rapidly spreading, highly contagious, deadly virus in 2009. The H1N1 pandemic, it was over in months because we did not do these things that continued the progression of a pandemic. We did not do social distancing, masking. Those strategies came out of China, by the way. Do you think the communist government of China is going to have the best healthcare system plan in the world for Americans? But it was pushed by the WHO, and then the CDC was complicit and with Fauci to push these things as well. Remember, Fauci said masks don't work.
Yep.
And then later he said, well, maybe a mask, and then he said 2 masks. And so he was lying somewhere along the line, because not all of those things are possible to be done at the same time.
Right.
But the biggest thing is that there's an inhaled steroid called budesonide. And there's a website called budesonideworks.com that's basically a library of all the scientific studies out of Oxford University. That's not a fringe organization. Oxford has 72 Nobel Prize laureates, and it's the oldest university in the English-speaking world since 1096. They know what is going on, and they did the STOIC trial, the principal trial, 2 randomized controlled trials proving budesonide works against COVID overwhelmingly. They stopped the study early. They said it's unethical for us to give the placebo group placebo. They need budesonide to save their life.
So the CDC didn't approve budesonide, right?
There's been an active censorship and suppression of the truth in the United States. We all know that at this point. It's undeniable, including latest news. The top lawyer for the state of Texas, the attorney general, suing Pfizer for purposely misleading the public about the effectiveness of the shots. Hey, we were told safe and effective, and they're still saying safe and effective. He's going after the overwhelming evidence that it is not effective, and that they had lied to the public purposely. Have they done that before? Yes. The record for the largest criminal fine in the history of the world goes to Pfizer. Wow. $2.3 billion for civil and criminal fines 10 years ago. But the Department of Justice said that they purposely lied to the public about their product.
Right.
Could
Doctor,
they do it? They did it.
Doctor, we're running up against the time. I just have a question that I'm sure is on everybody's mind. Whatever happened to the flu? Did it
it's here.
Is it decimated now? Everything is COVID now? There's no flu. There's no RSV. It's just everything COVID?
It's ridiculous. There's a tremendous effort to use to misrepresent and deceive the public about effective early outpatient treatments with budesonide, about pushing people towards masks, which there's evidence that it actually is harmful. And you can go to budesonideworks.com, and also there's a independent investigative journalist, John Fleetwood, JONFLEETWOOD.com, and he has some cutting edge articles about these things. But the top doctor of Florida, the Surgeon General of Florida, has sent a letter to the CDC and the FDA based on the evidence. It's not safe because it has DNA contamination. DNA is actually used in the multiplication of the in the mass production of the RNA shots, and so it's in there. They know it's in there. They can't deny that. But it's up to 70 times the safety level according to the FDA's own records. So we have evidence it's not safe, not effective, but we're being lied to because they can't be sued.
Right. All right, Dr. Bartlett, real quick. So what has the CDC approved to treat COVID? Have they approved hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin?
No, so they have a repurposed HIV drug type medicine called Paxlovid. And so they're pushing that, and it's used to, when it's brand in a new medicine, it's going to be very expensive, and it is, and has a tremendous amount of drug interaction risk with common medicines people are on. It's not, its safety record is not on the same level as budesonide and other treatments. They have not looked at or acknowledged the reality of budesonide, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, but especially budesonide, which is now in the early treatment strategy of the country of India for treating COVID, and also in the 840-page government document of Australia on how to treat COVID. They say use budesonide. But here in the United States, the evidence is being suppressed, and the CDC is complicit. The FDA is complicit. The FDA was given a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit by a nonprofit saying, give us the evidence on the shots. The FDA said, legally, we got to give it to you, but we don't want the American people to see this for 55 years. And then 2 weeks later, they said, we changed our mind. We don't want the American people to see the evidence we have of 1,200 diagnoses that will either kill you immediately or could permanently disable you for 75 years. And then it was eventually released. But we have seen disaster after disaster in the ER, where I'm the ER doctor, after COVID shots. The public isn't being told that.
How many people do you think were adversely affected by the mRNA COVID shots?
So if you want to just go with the CDC's data on their website, over 1.5 million have been injured by the COVID shots. If you just want to go by the CDC's data, 36,000 deaths from the COVID shots in the last 2 years. Over 90% of all vaccine deaths for the last 30 years have happened in the last 2 years, according to the CDC's website, with just the COVID shot. Is the public being told that, or are they just being told safe and effective?
Safe and effective. And then they hire, movie stars and pro athletes to try and tell us to
$2 million.
don't get 2 shots, get 3 shots.
they're
RSV,
on
flu,
5,
and
6,
COVID.
7.
What
What is
number
it
are we on,
boosting?
by the way? Are
But
we
what
on
is it
6
boosting?
or 7 or what?
Right. And so, we were told 1 shot one time. Then Fauci alluded to the fact that we should get 1 shot every year till we die.
Yeah.
And when you die, then you don't have to get the shot anymore.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
But actually, they're doing 2 shots a year at least. And a recent scientific study showed that less than 2% effectiveness after the 4th COVID booster. In just 4 months, it has less than 2% effectiveness. So it is not effective like they've promoted it, and it is not safe. There's a tremendous amount of people who are being harmed or killed with these shots. That's a fact, according to the CDC's VAERS website. And I have family members that have been injured by these shots. And I'm telling them the truth, but people are being told over and over and over safe and effective propaganda by a pharmaceutical company that knows that they have vaccine liability protection according to the Congress law of 1986 that says you cannot sue a vaccine manufacturer even if it killed your baby.
God, wow. We need to try and overturn that. All right, Dr. Richard Bartlett, we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And the website again is
Amy, thank you.
Budesonide.works.com.
Budesonideworks.com.
Okay, Budesonideworks.com. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
For armed or unarmed security, average isn't good enough. You deserve more. You need more.
Morrison means more.
Morrison Security. More deterrence and prevention with customized programs that fit your budget. Cost-effective, sensible solutions for all businesses and facilities.
Morrison means more.
More peace of mind, knowing your security guards are well-trained professionals with a track record of getting results and serving exactly your needs. Morrison Security personnel are constantly trained for readiness and are prepared for any given situation that can occur at a job site.
Morrison means more.
More reliability of management for quick and effective solutions at your property. Morrison Security is responsive. They are always available to you.
Morrison means more.
More awareness of any challenges you face with protecting people, property, and assets. For armed and unarmed security, don't settle for substandard or average. Security is too important. Contact them and find out how you can get more. MorrisonSecurity.com. MorrisonSecurity.com.
Morrison means more.
My son was saying, Mom, why are you paying so much for this? The supplement store has the exact same thing. And I said, no, they don't. Because he was telling me that they have similar products as Balance of Nature. But then when he came over to my house and he looked at the label of the Balance of Nature about all the, ingredients and everything, he realized, oh yeah, this is a superior product.
Step into the new year with a new you. Start your journey to better health by calling 1-800-246-8751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and signing up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
Are you looking for fair news coverage out of the nation's capital? Join the Center Square's Editor-in-Chief Dan McCaleb and DC Bureau Chief Casey Harper as they discuss all things coming out of Washington, D.C.
And as you said, I did a fact check on this because I really found it pretty misleading. Gas prices, yes, are down. But if you look at food prices, they increased.
No spin, just the news. Listen to the America in Focus podcast at americastalking.com or wherever you get your podcast.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we finally have a Chicago Democrat that said it. We'll explain, but now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Yellow Line service to resume today. Chicago's mayor meeting with a congressional delegation over what he calls a migrant crisis. Round Lake Beach woman is charged in a boy's death. Blackhawks go quietly against the Rangers while Connor Bedard is named an NHL All-Star. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Remembering the Capitol riot. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden will be doing that today.
There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy.
That's in a new campaign ad ahead of his re-election campaign event in Pennsylvania,
where George Washington and the Continental Army set up camp during the Revolutionary War. The historical site is expected to serve as a backdrop for President Biden as he plans to discuss the events of January 6. Some Trump allies, though, have accused Democrats of election interference through criminal cases and attempts to remove the former president from the ballot in some states.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. Now, the former president remains the Republican frontrunner, but Fox's Evan Brown reports 10 days before the Iowa caucuses, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is optimistic.
The governor thinks there is more to the Iowa caucuses than just polling.
I think the polls are used more to advance narratives and try to change opinion rather than accurately reflect it.
Speaking from Des Moines on the Fox News Rundown podcast, DeSantis says the same pollsters predicted his demise when seeking a second term as governor.
I just don't put a lot of stock into what's going on. What we do, is particularly in a caucus, is identify the people that are committed to us.
Also in Iowa, kids are not going to school in Perry the day after a 17-year-old student went on a shooting spree, killing a sixth grader before killing himself.
5 other victims are being treated at area hospitals, including 4 other students and the school's principal.
Fox's Garrett Tenney.
Investigators are still working on a motive, but say shortly before the shooting, the gunman made several posts on social media that
Some students say the killer had been bullied. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's en route to the Middle East as Israel keeps waging war against Hamas. State Department spokesman Matt Miller says,
"It is in no one's interest, not Israel's, not the region's, not the world's, for this conflict to spread beyond Gaza."
Though it has to some degree. Iran-backed militants have hit Israel from Lebanon, and U.S. forces have been targeted more than 100 times in the Middle East. America's listening to Fox News.
28 degrees, cloudy skies at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 people with a voting rights group that may be funded by progressives and Democrats are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich says right now they can't discuss the nature of the objections.
Because we do not release anything related to objections until they are in the hands of a hearing officer. That's not going to happen until January 17th.
The Sun-Times is reporting objectors using the 14th Amendment claim that the former president is barred for encouraging protests in 2021. Governor J.B. Pritzker's billionaire cousin Thomas Pritzker is named in newly released documents related to the late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Wednesday evening's release of nearly 40 different documents include a deposition with an Epstein victim. She said she had sexual relations at one time with Tom Pritzker. Asked in 2019 about his cousin's relationship with Epstein, Pritzker said at that time he was unaware they knew each other.
And so I hope that the justice system will pursue the allegations that were made to the fullest extent of the law and make sure the victims get the justice that they deserve.
A spokesperson for Tom Pritzker vehemently denies the allegation. A Round Lake Beach woman was arrested Thursday after a juvenile male was found unresponsive and later died at a nearby hospital. 45-year-old Cara Ulrich was arrested Thursday, charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of endangering the life and health of a child. Chicago firefighter accused of shooting a man in an alleged road rage incident is released on electronic monitoring, while Mateo Kasim was charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery. Service on the CTA Yellow Line resuming today, 7 weeks after a train crash on the Skokie Swift left nearly 20 hospitalized. Chicago sports. Bears hope to knock their longtime rivals out of the postseason when they visit the Packers at Lambeau Sunday. It's been changed to a 3:25 kick time. Blackhawks A no-show on offense in a 4-1 loss to the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. In other team news, Connor Bedard has become the youngest All-Star in NHL history. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher looks ahead at 2024.
Are you ready? Are you buckled in? Are you bracing yourself? We're going to need each other. We're sort of in this split between establishment Republicans and Republicans who have pivoted into a more populist, America First outlook. And that, to me, is what the whole year is going to be about.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Randy Donnelly.
And I'm Susan from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois.
We're the hosts of the Donnelly Auctions Hour every Saturday at 1 p.m. here on AM 560.
There is no show like it in the Chicagoland area.
We talk about antiques of all kinds.
And we can help you sell your antiques.
We have great items and the buyers for every collection.
To find out more, go to DonnellyAuctions.com and listen Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Donnelly Auctions Hour, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When Freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-353-2973 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
7:07, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. It's a jam solid on the inbound Kennedy in the express lanes between Irving Park and Kimball this morning. Stevenson right now jammed between Ashland and the Dan Ryan merge, and the ramp to the inbound Dan Ryan is heavy and slow. Inbound Dan Ryan itself, 15 and climbing, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, overturned vehicle right lane block, an SUV on its side. DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound at Oakwood. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Mostly cloudy skies today. Look for a high of 37. A little bit of snow at times late tonight. Little or no accumulation, low 31. Flurries tomorrow, a high 36. Snow on Sunday morning, little or no accumulation, high 37. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
28 at O'Hare, 29 clouds midway, 24 at Aurora, and 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Always a lot going on. We're
Always
filling in.
Yes.
And I want you to know that you're going to be sitting down and listening as a Chicago Democrat finally admitted who's to blame for the border crisis. This is when Alderman Brian Hopkins was on CNN.
I'm a Democrat, but I'll say the Biden administration has absolutely dropped the ball. I'm not going to let them off the hook. They have left us in the ditch with this, and that's unacceptable.
And with that, let's welcome to the program Alderman Brian Hopkins. He's the second ward alderman. Good morning, Mr. Hopkins. How are you?
Good, Amy. Thanks for having me on. Good morning, John.
Good morning, sir.
So did you get any pushback for making that comment on cable TV?
Not really. I've had some colleagues privately, raise their eyebrows, but at the same time acknowledge, the seriousness of the situation we find ourselves in, the impact it's having on our city budget, and the fact that this is an abdication of a federal responsibility. Never in the history of this country has immigration fallen to municipal governments. It's not something we're equipped to handle as a city, and it's not something we should be put in the position of being forced to deal with. That's why our mayor had a press conference recently with the mayor of New York and the mayor of Denver, all saying the same thing. This is not a city's job. We're not equipped for it. We're not very good at it. If you look at the situation and the way the migrants are being handled, we're doing what we can, but we're not really set up for this, and the results speak for itself. And it's been over a year now since we first appealed to the federal government for assistance to be able to pay for this, and our pleas have largely fallen on deaf ears.
So what about the bigger issue? I mean, the policies that are in place to allow people in. When you said it was Biden's fault, is it Biden's fault because he's not giving the city enough federal funds, or is it Biden's fault for not having the Remain in Mexico policy in place that Trump had in place?
Sure. And by the way, as a Democrat, I'm certainly critical of my own party, but I do not think the border situation for 4 years of the Trump presidency was that much better. It didn't have the volume of illegal crossings happening right now, but we didn't have secure borders either. There was 4 years for the Trump administration to solve the problem. They didn't solve it. Now this administration has had 4 years to solve the problem, and they didn't solve it either. So
Alderman.
Bipartisan blame to go around.
Okay. I used to be a reporter in El Paso and in Tucson, so I was, I woke up every morning looking at the Rio Grande. I know we've always had people sneaking into this country. I saw it with my own eyes. But you cannot deny we've had 9 million people. 70%, now they're saying of the ones that they're catching now, 70% are just gotaways. They just run away. They're not even being sent somewhere. These people are just going wherever they want. And in December, we had 300,000. That's insanity. And they can't all stay in Texas. I mean, you get that, right? I mean, you're aware of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Although, Governor Abbott said something yesterday about, there's more room in New York and Chicago. That's why he's doing this. As if there isn't any room in Texas. It's not a question of room. It's a question of cost. There's a substantial cost. There's a human cost to address the needs of these people, some of them families, who have nothing except, whatever they could put in a backpack. So nobody wants to pay this. That's the problem. I don't really blame Texas. They don't want to pay this cost any more than we do in Chicago. But again, that just highlights the fact that this is a federal problem. But this is not a state level issue, and it's not a city level issue.
Alderman Hopkins, I this is what I'll say. It's coming to Chicago, it's coming to New York, it's coming to LA because of one thing that you guys all have in common: sanctuary cities, and Illinois as a whole as a sanctuary state. You guys had an opportunity to change that. What happened there? Why did that fall apart?
Well, I'm not sure it would have changed it. It was an advisory referendum, and I don't know what the results of that referendum were going to be. And now we'll never know because the mayor's team, blocked us from doing it. I voted to put that on the ballot. I wanted to see what the people of Chicago had to say about the concept of a sanctuary city. I suspect at this point a majority would have voted to not remain a sanctuary.
But isn't that the
Again,
driver of
was-
the
it
issue,
was
though?
Advisory only.
Isn't
But
that the
that's why-
driver of the
yeah,
issue, though?
That's why Abbott is sending people here.
Yeah, he said it. The
Right.
governor said it. That's the reason why.
But
he
ultimately,
said
I
it.
respect that you tried to change that.
Yeah.
I mean, to let us vote, have a say, but it's not. Is that gone? Is that any chance of coming back on the March ballot?
No, it's too late now. We've passed the deadline. The ballots will be printed shortly. With vote by mail and other early voting. There just isn't enough time to put it on the ballot. But we tried. But again, I think it's an interesting question. What would the voters have said? I don't even know that there's been a poll that's done. But if you base it on my phone calls and my emails and people contacting my office, a majority of Chicagoans have decided maybe this isn't a good idea after all, to simply have an open border and say anybody can come here. It doesn't matter what your legal status is, and we're going to provide you with food, housing, medical care. We're spending about $40 million a month now. That's unsustainable. We simply don't have the money to continue this indefinitely. We have other needs in our budget. In fact, the mayor just announced we're spending $95 million has just been added to the budget for migrant services that was originally dedicated for COVID relief. So that is some federal money that we're getting. I should acknowledge that. Great, $95 million, that helps. But the money was supposed to go towards COVID relief, which, the pandemic isn't over, by the way. We just raised our risk level from low to medium for the first time in months because the virus is still out there circulating. And now we can't spend this money what it was intended for to deal with COVID. We're spending it on migrant services.
Yeah.
So it's having a real impact on the city's budget.
And Alderman, you guys have there's a Democrat president in Joe Biden. There's a huge Democrat delegation of congressional folks here in Illinois. Has there been a meeting? Has Biden reached out? Has the congressional delegation reached out to say, we got a problem here, mister? You broke it, now fix it?
Yeah, actually, yes. In the last couple of weeks, there's been a noticeable increase in attention from both our congressional delegation here in Illinois. They've had some meetings with federal officials. The Biden administration has signaled help is on the way. It sounds like they've elevated the rhetoric, at least. I'd like to see the action follow it. Hopefully they'll walk the walk as much as talk the talk. Of course, they're acutely aware that we have the convention coming up in August, and this situation would reflect badly on my party. And I'm one of the voices saying that. I mean, we can't have this situation continue to deteriorate. It's visibly unsettling to drive through the streets of Chicago and see migrant camps all over in the downtown area, Wacker Drive, my community of Streeterville. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Is Chicago
we need
ready?
to solve it now. We can't wait for July and say, "Oh, the convention's the next month. Let's fix things up." It needs immediate attention.
But is Chicago ready for this convention that's coming in? You look at everything that's happening. Are we going to do Gavin Newsom clean up the streets? To have a Chinese guy come in and clean up the streets. Is Chicago ready for the DNC convention coming in August?
Not now. That's fortunately we have some time. But I was here in '96. I was a part of that convention. I saw what we did. The city really came together. We enjoyed a significant economic benefit in the years following that convention. We all benefited from it. So we're hopeful we can repeat it. But we've got some work to do to make that happen, and we're not there.
All right, let's talk about logistics. So this drop-off center now, they want to build 4 warming tents. Is this correct?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The state really hasn't stepped up to the level that you would expect them to until recently. And this is a state initiative, so that helps. The city of Chicago and our local taxpayers won't be paying for this. The burden will be spread throughout the state, which is, of course, a sanctuary state, as I think you alluded to. So this is the state government bringing some resources to bear to try and do a better job of sorting the migrants when they arrive and making sure that they wind up in one of the available shelters.
And so how many have come total? Because I heard 30,000, 35,000 since this program began. How many migrants or illegals have come to Chicago?
Yeah, we're at about 30,000. We've got 14,000 right now that we're dealing with, that we're housing in various shelters, or that we know where they are. And then there's another probably about 15,000 that have gone through the system, and we're no longer quite sure where they are. Catholic Charities has been an outstanding agency as far as providing housing placement for them. But once they get out of our system, we stop counting them. So the total in a little over a year is about 30,000. And we have 14,000 right now, that we're trying to accommodate and pay for.
But isn't that fraught with danger? We don't know. What does that mean? We don't know where they are.
Yeah, we're not doing a very good job keeping track of the people that leave our shelters. When they go through the system and they're provided with something resembling permanent housing, a lot of them are finding friends, family, doubling up in housing. And we don't necessarily know. We don't call them every couple of days and say, hey, you stayed in the shelter 3 months ago. We haven't seen you. What's going on? Where are you?
But how much are we giving them a month? I mean, I heard anywhere from $2,500 a month to $9,000 a month.
Yeah, that's excessive. It's not $9,000 a month. The figure varies depending on whether it's a family intact unit, with a head of household that is seeking employment. And that's the other thing. That's one of the most common questions that I get when I interact with the migrant families. Can you help me get a job? A lot of them are here pursuing the traditional American dream. They want to support themselves. They want to support their young families. You see a lot of kids. You see a lot of, moms pushing strollers around outside of the shelters. If we would just get out of their way and provide work permits for them, that's another thing. We need help from the federal government because we can't do that as a local municipality. We can't give them legal work authorization. There's a lot of them that are willing and able to work, and they should be able to do so because there's jobs available.
But Alderman Hopkins, looking for work is not a reason to seek asylum. That has to be changed. If you ever get an opportunity to speak to the congressional delegation, I don't know what law, what policy change, that needs to stop, because coming here looking for work is not a reason to be here in the greatest country ever devised, called the United States of America. Now, I understand, come through the natural ports of entry, but if you're just coming here and invading our country, I think you need to. No, I know. Seeking job or a better life, and you're not being pursued by a rogue government or people are trying to kill you. That's one thing, but coming here looking for work is not a reason to come into America. That needs to change. What can be done for that aspect?
Yeah, I agree. The whole notion of asylum seeking right now is really become nothing more than a loophole. People are coached on what to say. They're basically gaming the system. Although if you think about it, though, America, the Statue of Liberty, what does that symbolize? It's always been a beacon of hope.
Support of entry.
Seeking a different life. And I don't think that's changed.
Right.
What has changed is we don't really screen anymore. It's basically a default open border policy. If you think about Ellis Island, for example, next to the Statue of Liberty, for 60 years, Ellis Island was the point of entry for migrants seeking a better life. And we had a screening process. That was before the internet, obviously. It was a paper-based system. For some of the time, it was even before they had telephones. And yet they somehow managed to screen people coming from other countries seeking a new life in America. And there were three primary things that we tried to screen for. Number one, disease. Did you have tuberculosis? Did you have polio? Did you have smallpox? We didn't want people with communicable diseases coming to America. Second thing we screen for is, are you a fugitive of justice in your home country? Are you a criminal? Did you murder someone and you're trying to escape justice? The third thing we screened for was, do you have some place to go? We didn't want you to get off that boat and be homeless, the minute you set foot on American soil. We didn't talk about employment because the assumption was if you were coming here, you were coming to work.
Right.
We didn't need to screen for that. You didn't come to America because you thought you were going to get free housing, free food, free medical care, and basically live in the welfare state for the rest of your life. You came here because you were industrious and you thought there were better opportunities here to better yourself and provide for your family than there were in the country you came from.
Yeah, but we came here. We came to ports of entry. That's the difference.
We don't have any ports.
We don't have exactly 12,000 people in that pass, Eagle Pass. In one day? That's insane.
And 390 of those kids that day were unaccompanied minors. which is a whole other topic. All right, Alderman
Thank you,
Hopkins,
sir.
we're going to have to leave it there for today. Brian Hopkins, Alderman of the 2nd Ward, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, sir.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
45 years ago, I started Permaseal Basement Systems working out of my apartment and F-150 pickup truck. Today, we've helped over 500,000 people in greater Chicagoland make their homes healthy and more valuable. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer. I'd like to thank all of you who have trusted Permaseal and reassure you that your trust is well placed. You can trust Permaseal to use only our own professional employees that will respect you and your home. Trust that we will deliver the best value, using fair book pricing so you don't have to negotiate to get the best deal. And trust Permaseal to always stand behind our work and our word. This January, we're celebrating with an anniversary sale offering 10% off all our services or up to 24-month interest-free financing, waterproofing, crawl space encapsulation, structural repairs, even our new attic insulation service. Be sure to call by January 31st to get great savings and great service. 800-421-7325, 800-421-SEAL, or visit permaseal.net.
I'm actually doing it early today, taking balance of nature. Why? With so much craziness in this world, there's one thing you can control, and that's your own health. That's your own temple. So I feel good that I'm doing something for myself, taking balance of nature. 31 whole fruits and vegetables, real food, real nutrition. People who take it tell me they have increased energy. They feel like they can do what they do even as they age. I remember I met a 55-year-old man. I said, well, what's the biggest difference? He'd been taking balance of nature for about 5 years. And he said, I still feel like I'm 50 years old. I feel like I haven't aged. I have the same strength. I have the same energy level. And then I sleep better at night. And he goes, I feel good. So balance of nature, the number to call is 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. First timers get 35% off and a free bottle of Fiber and Spice that John Anthony, a.k.a. Vanna White, is holding up. Tell me about your Fiber and Spice experience.
Oh, it's been great. Energy's there. A lot of weight loss too, because it's fiber.
Right, but you put it inside your smoothie.
So yeah,
right?
I put it inside my smoothie, or sometimes when it's called juicing, I use a juicer with lemons, apples, what do you call them, blueberries, and Fiber and Spice.
Oh, nice! And I just gave you another
jug
jug of Fiber and Spice. So be one of the cool kids. Get your balance of nature and Fiber and Spice today. 800-246-8751 or online at balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago. Chronic pain, it can ruin your marriage, bring on depression. It's no way to live. But now there's a non-surgical way to get rid of that hip, back, and joint pain. It's called QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Did you know that your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue? And QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Hundreds of board-certified QC Kinetic providers have treated tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People like you and me with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. Folks, this is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again. Get your life back. And listen, it's non-surgical. So fight back against the pain. Take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. This is the number, 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955.
Imagine what your future looks like. Is the picture a little blurry? Hey, it's Sean Thompson here for Alpha Wealth Group. When we look ahead, we're visualizing where we want to be, and for retirement, that can be hard without a written financial plan. Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group can help you bring your retirement picture into focus. For decades, Tom has been crafting customized financial strategies. His goal is to help you protect your savings, grow your wealth, and create an income strategy you cannot outlive. If you're nearing or already in retirement, it's time to get your plan on paper. So bring your readers and let's take a look at it closely. Call Tom at 630-934-1855 and schedule a complimentary retirement consultation. There is no cost. There is no obligation. This is a chance to get a clearer view of your retirement. The number again is 630-934-1855 or visit alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. They had 2 town halls yesterday on CNN. Nikki Haley, but first Ron DeSantis went.
Yeah.
Possibly the most cringiest moment. We'll bring that to you a little bit later. But now let's head into the newsroom for news here at home and around the world. The one and only Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and John, right now, cloudy skies, and we will see clouds throughout the weekend with a chance of snow showers on the way. President Biden will hold a campaign event today. It marks the 3rd anniversary of the Capitol January 6 rioting. Russia says its air defenses have downed dozens of Ukrainian drones in occupied Crimea and in southern Russia as well, as Kyiv presses its strategy of targeting the Moscow-annexed peninsula and taking the war into Russia well beyond Ukraine's borders. Officials say South African athlete and Olympian Oscar Pistorius has been released from prison after serving nearly 9 years for the killing of his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp. Now, South African prisoners are eligible for parole after serving about half of their sentence. An evacuation order went out this morning for a South Korean island shelled by North Korea with 200 rounds. The shelling this morning caused no damage or injuries, but the act does raise tensions. Presidential candidate Ron DeSantis in a tense showdown with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley in the Iowa caucuses. Florida governor gave an interview to the Des Moines Register and intensified his attacks on Haley.
I'm the only one that has a chance to beat Trump and win the general election. Nikki Haley can't get conservative voters. She's the darling of the never-Trumpers.
Also in Iowa, police confirm a 6th grade student is dead after an active shooter event at an Iowa high school.
Officers immediately attempted to locate the source of the threat and quickly found what appeared to be the shooter with a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Criminal Investigation Assistant Director Mitch Morvet, the 17-year-old shooter who is a student on that campus, also took his own life. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds.
This strikes at the heart of everything that we hold dear. This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core.
Police investigators say the 17-year-old shooter had 2 weapons with him. 5 people with a voting rights group are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. It comes as presidential candidates are filing to appear on the March, Illinois primary ballot. Police in Willowbrook are searching for a man who broke into a home in December but came back yesterday armed with a knife. According to DuPage County Sheriff's Office, deputies are investigating that home invasion. This time, the invader did not gain entry and then ran off. Detectives are investigating after a woman was found unresponsive on an overnight CTA train. Police say transit employees made the discovery yesterday morning in the first block of East Roosevelt Road. The Bears hope to knock the Packers out of the postseason when they visit in the season finale at Lambeau Field on Sunday at 3:25. Blackhawks lost to the Rangers 4-1, and the Bulls host Charlotte later on tonight. It's 7:33. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
When you need to ship sensitive or large and heavy equipment, the DC Group in Elk Grove has the experience and expertise to handle the biggest and most complicated jobs. DC Export and Domestic Packing Inc. was founded in 1974 by the husband and wife team of Dominic and Carol Cacciamiglio. Beginning in a building not much bigger than a 4-car garage, the company now boasts 2 Chicago area facilities totaling 100,000 square feet, plus a 45,000 square foot FTZ warehouse in Greenville, South Carolina. Through these facilities and their long-standing agents, they offer nationwide packing, crating, container, and flat rack loading unloading, as well as warehousing, all with heavy lift capabilities. Other products available include custom-made boxes, crates, skids, and corrosion control solutions. DC Transport was founded in 1991 to meet the growing needs of their customers and provide transportation services throughout North America. From container drayage to super heavy haul loads, DC Transport can help you move just about anything. Go to dcexport.com for more info and to get in touch. dcexport.com. We live in a high-tech world, yet nature is so complex that it's impossible for humans to even come close to duplicating it with all the technology in the world. Witness the spectacular things we see in nature and how they should inform one's faith in the latest book by Jeff Tischler, High Tech versus the Highest Tech. This 78-page paperback book is a must-read, packed with fascinating facts and colorful illustrations, laying out undeniable evidence for intelligent design and an all-powerful creator. And High Tech versus the Highest Tech is written in a way that all age groups can understand and enjoy. Get the book High Tech versus the Highest Tech by Jeff Tischler, offered through Milk and Honey Ministries for just $9.95, plus shipping and handling, with 100% of the proceeds going to missions. And for a limited time, $1 from each book sold goes directly to Food for the Poor. Order your copy today. Call toll-free 1-800-733-9262. Also available from Google Books or your favorite online bookseller. Special rates available for schools, churches, and mission outreach.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Carr Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
7:38. And let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. It is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7 around the clock all day, every day. including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer. Listen now, Dan and Amy, 247.com. Bensonville, an accident. York and Thorndale. Lombard, an accident. North Avenue and Swift. Hyde Park neighborhood, Lake Park Avenue, north of 51st, an accident. LaGrange Park, an accident. LaGrange Road and 31st. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, bad rollover accident cleared northbound at Oakwood Boulevard. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Tonight, overcast, snow showers. Low 31. Tomorrow, clouds, couple of flurries. High 36. Sunday, a little more snow in the morning. High 37. It's 28 in clouds at O'Hare. Along the lakefront, 29. And your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft.
Hey.
Your show tomorrow,
Yes.
Black and White Radio, from 4 to 7
Yeah.
p.m. You have any way you want to tease
Guess
the
who's
show?
going to be joining me?
Pardon?
And guess who's going to be joining me live in studio?
I don't know
Our
who.
good friend from Freedom Square, Tom Sadeka.
Oh, Tom Sadeka's
Yeah.
coming in.
He's so excited about it, too.
Good.
We had Mike Gallagher coming, but I would have had to come in yesterday to tape it, and I couldn't make it in. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he got some of his friends that are going to call in.
Well, he started the whole lunch program and featuring you guys would all go together and have lunch at restaurants that were open during COVID. That defied.
Share why you gave and the joy that people are experiencing to be able to kind of plant that flag in the year and say, do you know what? This year I'm making a difference. My business is going to be involved in the community, not just outside our doors, but also worldwide, because that reeks of our mission and our values. And knowing you're going to receive a media flight, a series of spots and commercials for your gift. I mean, talk about a win-win. That's an ROI I can get behind.
And it's always better to give than receive, that's for sure. And we want you, the listeners, when you hear their commercials air on the station, please support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity, because, the Christmas season is over. That doesn't mean that the need has gone away. That's for sure. And right now we still have limited availability. If you own a business or if you're the marketing director for your company and you thought, you know what, I might have missed out. You haven't. We have a few slots left to become a business benefactor. Go to 560theanswer.com/food for the poor, and we can get you in. And we want to thank some of our business benefactors. You want to take some of this list? Uh-oh. I'm putting you on the spot. You didn't know there was going to be a homework assignment.
No, I did not know this.
We've got SE Consultants, Applied Mechanical Sales. I like this one, the Golf Factory in Randhurst, Mount Prospect. That's where I used to work there. Well, at Randhurst. But I have to get some golf items, and guess what I'm doing?
What's that?
I'm going to drive there instead of to the other golf shop, because the Golf Factory in Randhurst, Mount Prospect is a business benefactor. Chicago Gaelic Park, Riverside Club for Adventure and Imagination. What do you have over there, partner?
I got a few people over here. Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling.
Oh,
Earthworks.
Oh.
I like this one. Augustine. We may have to stop over here. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
Oh.
I'm hungry now.
Oh, boy.
MS Consulting. I heard their commercials.
Yep. Heart Puzzles, D&W Law Group, Mathnasium of Chicagoland, Freedom Boat Club of Chicago and Michiana. That's good. Morrison Security, JohnCastNews.com. The list goes on and on. And again, anything you can donate to our website would be much appreciated. And Anitra, how does it warm your heart? I mean, knowing that, Christmas is over, but we did reach our goal.
Amy, I mean, even as you were reading that list, I mean, it's so easy for me to say it's a child getting food for a year. Those business benefactors are providing 62 children food today and next week. I mean, we had a mother we met in Honduras talk about she sends her children to the dump just to scavenge for scraps and then for recyclables. Your gifts are making the last Thursday, they will go to the dump. I mean, it's extraordinary. I want to just take 4 seconds and pause and think of a mother, no way, no means of feeding her children. Boom, 180. Now she's getting word they will eat for a year. I mean, talk about transforming lives in 2024. It's incredible. I mean, I don't know whether to laugh out of joy or just weep because I know the impact.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do. We're going to have to leave it there for today, but Anita Parmalee, on-air fundraiser for Food for the Poor, and you can always go to 560theanswer.com/food and make a donation. Thank you so much, Anitra.
Thanks so much, John and Amy. Always a joy.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Well, I've been taking it for some time. We saw the ad, and we thought we would give it a try. And I noticed after the first month, we just felt better. I told my doctor, too, and she said, this sounds like a really good product for you to be taking. We plan to take it for life.
I ran this by my doctor. I always run it by her, everything I take, and I told her I've been taking this for a while. Is this okay to take? She goes, oh, this is wonderful for you to take. Keep taking it. She goes, I approve this. This is very good. So she said, yes, this is one thing you can take that's very good. I'm not going to stop taking Balance of Nature.
Step into the new year with a new you. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Nick Philippus, co-owner of Joe Donut and a proud customer of Signature Bank. We're a locally owned artisan donut shop that focuses on chef-made small batch and craft donuts. We have 7 locations around the Chicagoland suburbs, with an 8th location coming soon. After opening our original stores in Glenview and Niles, we came to Signature Bank for financing for our new Mount Prospect location. From PPP and material delays in construction, Signature Bank was flexible and truly a banking partner that a small business like ours hadn't experienced before. Even their fraud department was able to stop a $30,000 fraudulent check from clearing our account. That allowed us to focus on selling donuts, knowing Signature Bank had our back.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
'Tis the season. For something fun to do with your crew, load them into the family truckster and head to Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove, where there are 2 separate light shows for families to experience and love. The Gobert's Christmas Drive-Thru Light Show is open now and sure to dazzle. A perfect outing for friends, family, or a cool date night. Take in the wonder of it all. Watch the lights blink and dance to choreographed music while you drive through the path. Dancing penguins, falling snowflakes, reindeer running through the field, a tunnel of lights, and more kick off your perfect Christmas adventure. The Larson Christmas Light Show you know and love from Campton Hills is on the Gobert's Farm. Enjoy 30 minutes of spectacular lights, special effects, and surprise character appearances. Enjoy both Christmas light shows in one night. Pricing for both shows is per vehicle, and online tickets are required. All forms of transportation are welcome, including limos and party buses. Tickets, pricing, and hours are online at Goberts.com. Enjoy the holidays at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove, Illinois.
This is Seth Leibson of 960thepatriot.com for townhall.com. The forces of war and evil are exploding everywhere. In the Middle East, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. One might even call it pandemonium. Our allies are at risk, our enemies, and the enemies of our allies are unrelenting. Add to this, we're looking at an unprecedented free-for-all invasion at our southern border. This election year is looking a lot like 1980. In that campaign, Ronald Reagan said, quote, "We know only too well that war comes not when the forces of freedom are strong, but when they are weak. It is then that tyrants are tempted. We simply cannot learn these lessons the hard way again without risking our destruction. Close quote. Tragically, we are learning these lessons the hard way. One can only remember where the world was from the Middle East to Europe to Central America in 1980 and imagine the nightmare it could have become were Ronald Reagan not elected. We're getting that same sense right now. President Biden needs to be defeated. I'm Seth Leibson.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, so what's in store for President Trump in 2024? Some people want to go to psychics to find out. I don't know if you saw. Did you watch Jesse Waters?
Oh, yeah, I do. Well,
do you have that
I don't,
story over there, baby?
I don't have cable, so.
You don't have cable?
No.
What's wrong with it? What do you mean you don't have cable?
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Do you have Hulu or Roku
Yeah, I have
or
all that.
Shmubu or blah, blah, blah?
I stream.
You stream? Oh, you're so cool. You
Netflix.
stream?
No, that's not it.
Oh, you
said Biden's resolution. That's
No. All right, so Jesse Waters had the psychic on, and we'll get you her name. To predict, he had to grab a tarot card to predict the future because he was at some dinner party in the Hamptons where a psychic was there, and so he thought, oh, I'll bring this bit to my TV show and have a psychic predict what's up for Trump in 2024. And she picked a card.
Paula, for you to give me a reading on President Trump.
Just the one card?
One card.
One card. Let's do just one card. We like that one.
What is that?
I mean, I do recognize that I'm at Fox TV. I am a sense of loss. A sense of loss. But it's very specific. No, let me move on. It's a sense of loss. It's as if he may be thinking more about what he's lost and not still taking full advantage of what he still has.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. John Anthony, why are you rolling your eyes? You've never been, she was a British psychic.
I don't believe in them.
You don't believe in psychics?
As a person of faith, I don't believe in psychics.
Oh, because it's not godly.
It's divination.
Oh, well, you took a fun segment. And you went,
hey!
Justin, have you ever been to a psychic? Pony up there on the mic, because obviously John hasn't.
No.
You're not even playing along for the radio bit.
No.
You're just out.
No.
Justin? Hello, sweet Justin.
He's there.
I'm coming.
Newly married.
That's what's
just
wrong.
spending his holidays with his new bride, Bethany.
He's married now, so everything slows down.
Have you ever been to a psychic?
I actually have one time we were actually in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, see, that's just creepy.
I visited Boston, and my friend took me up to Salem just because we wanted it. We figured, you hear the witch trials, so something I've heard about as a kid, so we wanted to go. So we went.
Uh-huh.
It was cool. It was more cool at the time, I think, but now looking back on it, they make very vague general statements.
Yeah.
You're going through some sort of struggle, and then your mind links,
like, oh, that's
I woke
right.
up late yesterday. Oh,
They
really
read body
am.
language.
They read body language?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. And I went to one once.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is not even one time.
Miss Cleo?
And I will never. It was in 2007. What happened in 2007? Or was that 2009? I can't remember. No, 2007.
Was that the breakdown of everything?
No. I went to a psychic, and she literally shuddered. And she went, and I was like, what is going on? I got bamboozled into going with some high school friends. And she's like, oh, and she was visibly shaking. Oh, she's like, your home is not your home. Everything, your world is going to be turned upside down. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm really glad I came. Now let's go have fun, ladies. 2 months before, I went swimming in Plainfield.
Oh.
And and then I lost, my job. Then I got divorced.
Yeah.
And I had to short sale the house. I lost the house that she said I would lose.
Really?
Oh. She's like, I have things that you know aren't the same.
That's the devil.
See, you know what? And that's why I'm not going back ever.
Yeah. That devil. Remember, what was the Adam Sandler movie? The Devil.
One?
That's the devil.
The devil. All right, but I know now that I know it's not godly. Well, I'm never going to go back.
Yeah.
So.
I've never been, and if I've had some people reach out and say, "Can I read your tarot?" No, no. Even on TikTok, somebody, I said, "No, thank you. I already know the end. God's got my end. That's all I worry about. I'm not
There's this
concerned."
really nice lady who always goes to Freedom Summit. Have you met her? She walks around with a little notebook.
Oh yes.
And she, predicts things.
Yes.
And she said, now there's another thing. I didn't ask for any unsolicited advice about my future.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's Freedom Summit, she was doing the calculating, what year you were born, what time, blah, 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 blah. And she looks at me, she goes, 2023 is, she's like, you've actually had a string of really bad years. And then walks away. Like, thanks, Tootsie. Bye.
Wow.
And you know what, though? She was kind of right. All right, Steve in Bolingbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, all. I might have a little more confidence in the psychic if the Tribune had a headline that said "Psychic wins lottery."
There we
again.
go. I love that.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm with him.
Oh, that's great. And let's
I'm with
quickly go to Deborah in Arlington Heights. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Way to go, John, on what you said about psychics.
Yeah.
So here's my take on a psychic real quick. Recently, we had a psychic move into a building in my town, and shortly after the psychic moved into the building, there was a fire in the building.
Ooh.
And their psychic office or room got gutted. So I'm thinking, if the psychic was really a psychic, they should have known that they shouldn't move into the building because there was going to be a fire.
Oh, there you go.
Ouch.
Thanks, Deborah. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Lynn Patton joined us. She's a senior advisor to President Trump. Today, sunshine and some clouds. It'll be mild, a high of 37 degrees. It is now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
It's the first big economic report of the year. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it shows a bigger surge in hiring than economists thought to finish out last year.
More resilience in the job market. The Labor Department says there were 216,000 new jobs created last month, more than expected. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.7%.
That's Fox's Ginny Casola. President Biden may react to that report today as he holds his first 2024 re-election rally in Pennsylvania, but that is not the focus.
White House officials have already calculated that at the moment they don't have a very compelling argument about what they've done to fix the economy. So they are going to start this pitch for a second term by talking about what they can do to fix democracy.
Fox's Peter Ducey reports the president will be near Valley Forge in George Washington's Revolutionary War encampment, highlighting the threats the Capitol riot posed. Its 3-year anniversary is tomorrow. Now, voters in Illinois have filed a petition to remove former President Trump from the primary ballot, claiming he led an insurrection that day, joining other states disqualifying him under that constitutional provision. Trump lawyer Lena Habba tells Fox the Supreme Court needs to stop these people.
I think it'll clarify a lot of confusion amongst the states, amongst these rogue people like the woman we see in Maine who's not even a lawyer.
She calls this undemocratic. The former president will rally today in Iowa 10 days before the first contest, the caucuses. Now Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports the U.S. is about to hold more direct talks in the Middle East as Israel keeps waging war against Hamas.
State Department spokesman Matt Miller says the Secretary of State is headed to Israel, but also Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the West Bank.
He will discuss specific steps parties can take, including how they can use their influence with others in the region to avoid escalation.
And we got news out of Israel today. One of the residents kidnapped in the Hamas terror attack that started the war back in October is confirmed dead, but Tamir Adar's body remains in Gaza. Israel has said more than 20 of the 100-plus hostages Hamas is still holding are dead. America's listening to Fox News. 27 degrees in Chicago. Mostly cloudy skies, 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 with a voting rights group linked to Democrats and progressives are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich tells us they can't discuss the nature of the objections.
Because we do not release anything related to objections until they are in the hands of a hearing officer. That's not going to happen until January 17th.
The Sun-Times reports objectors using the 14th Amendment claim that Donald Trump is barred for encouraging protest at the U.S. Capitol on January 6 of 2021. A Round Lake Beach woman was arrested Thursday after a juvenile male was found unresponsive and later died in a nearby hospital. 45-year-old Kara Ulrich was arrested Thursday, charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and 2 counts of endangering the life or health of a child. 2 separate shootings on the same street in the Roseland neighborhood Thursday evening left an 11-year-old boy hospitalized and a 24-year-old man in critical condition. An Orland Park man is charged with a hate crime after being accused of attacking his Palestinian neighbor. Police say Terrence Klein reportedly got into an altercation with another man over the moving of garbage cans. Service on the CTA Yellow Line is resuming today, 7 weeks after a train crash left nearly 20 hospitalized in November. Chicago sports. Bears continue preparations for a battle with their longtime rivals at Lambeau Field, the Packers, on Sunday. That's a 3:25 kick. And the Blackhawks 4-1 losers to the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street will be reacting today to the Labor Department's December employment report. ExxonMobil says it will have expenses of between $2.4 and $2.6 billion in recent months. The cost of restarting production at its Santa Ynez unit in California. It says regulations have impeded progress in restoring operations. Shipping company Maersk now says it will divert all ships heading for the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, and will send them south around the Cape of Good Hope for the foreseeable future. It says the security risk continues to be at a significantly elevated level. Microsoft is getting closer to the market value of Apple, the most valuable U.S. company. Barron says Microsoft's gains are because it's been on the cutting edge of advances in artificial intelligence. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
AM 560 news time is 8:05. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And a check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John tomorrow afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right tomorrow afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Chronic pain, it can ruin your marriage, bring on depression. It's no way to live. But now there's a non-surgical way to get rid of that hip, back, and joint pain. It's called QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Did you know that your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue? And QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Hundreds of board-certified QC Kinetic providers have treated tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People like you and me with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. Folks, this is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again. Get your life back. And listen, it's non-surgical. So fight back against the pain. Take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. This is the number, 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
It's 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Subscribe free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Stevenson inbound at 30 minutes, 3:55 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan Express 1395th into the Burns Circle interchange. Mattawa, an accident. Town Line and Riverwoods. Elmhurst, an accident. Butterfield and Commonwealth Lane. Lombard, an accident. North Avenue and Swift. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Mostly cloudy skies today. Look for a high of 37. A little bit of snow at times late tonight. Little or no accumulation, low 31. Flurries tomorrow, a high 36. Snow on Sunday morning, little or no accumulation, high 37. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Mostly cloudy, 28 at O'Hare, 29 at Midway, 24 in Aurora, and 29 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony.
Hey, hey.
Always a pleasure. He's in for Dan Proft.
Yes.
And Dan will be back on Monday, so you Profties, don't worry.
Where's he at, though?
I don't know. He's either in Seattle at FatCon or golfing somewhere, hitting a little white ball, hopefully down the middle of the fairway. So, but the smear campaign, now they're bringing it back up.
Yeah.
It's 2024. And with the new Jeffrey Epstein list that was released, 170 names. Now, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
You know, because we had a woman come forward that say, because former President Clinton has maintained all along, I was never on the island. I was never on the island. And then it turns out that he was on the island. So here's Jennifer Freeman. She's the attorney for one of the victims who said she saw Clinton on the island, but listen to the whole clip.
Being on a helicopter with him and with Maxwell. There's another statement that she made that Clinton was on the island, which is very different than what we'd heard previously. We were heard that he wasn't on the island. Again, hard to say who to believe, of course, but he was on the island, but didn't take the bait. In other words, didn't have sexual relationships with any of the girls.
So did you get that part?
Yeah.
No sexual relationships with him. I mean, nobody's surprised that he was. Were you surprised that he went to the island?
No.
Knowing what we know about him, come on. But they're trying to rope Trump into this. Trump, not on the island. Trump used to be friends with Epstein, and then I think he figured out who he was. This is President Trump in 2019.
I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his.
With more on this, let's welcome to the program. And it's a pleasure to have her, Lynn Patton. She's senior advisor to President Trump. Good morning, Miss Patton. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Amy. Hi, John.
Hey, Lynn.
How are you guys?
I'm doing well.
So it's no surprise that they're trying to link President Trump with Lolita Express and with that island. Did you, with your interactions with President Trump, have you ever met Jeffrey Epstein?
You know, I started working for President Trump in about 2008 or so. I did not, that was at the Trump Organization as a personal assistant, actually to his 3 adult children, Eric, Don, and Ivanka, who also worked at the Trump Organization. And no, I didn't at the time travel with him to and from Palm Beach like I do now. But it's well documented, like Trump said, that, Jeffrey Epstein, like many people here in Palm Beach, had, was a fixture on the social scene. He had a Mar-a-Lago membership that he paid for. He was a man with money and means. And, Trump famously kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, terminated his membership because he was, I believe, hitting on the underage daughter of a member out by the pool.
Yes.
And we just have zero tolerance for that kind of behavior. And Trump saw it early, back, by the way, when everybody in the mainstream media and Democrat Party was telling us that Epstein Island was a conspiracy theory. I don't know if people remember that, but I'm old enough to remember when the media was telling us that an island owned by this wealthy man where people went and had, illegal activity and inappropriate relationship with women was a figment of our imagination, that it just didn't exist. And, obviously now we all know that that's not true. And this, in my opinion, was a story designed to bring down President Trump at the height of 2016, and it backfired.
Right. And now they're bringing it up again because now, we've had to wait till 2016 to get the depositions released. So it's going to be a slow drip over the next few days. Do you think that's
slow drip?
Right. But this is another attempt to take him down.
Absolutely. And because it's backfiring, I just posted a clip on Instagram where the ladies of The View are actually telling people, just because folks' names are on this list or mentioned in the documents doesn't mean we should be recklessly repeating them until we know more facts. I just can't imagine covering up for pedophiles. And people always say, well, Trump was on the plane. Trump was on the plane. Trump was on Epstein's plane once. It went from Palm Beach to New York City. It was basically a ride home. And never once went to the island. And if you live in Palm Beach, and I know this sounds like first world problems, you see all the time people hitching rides back and forth from Florida to New York, New York to Florida, New York to D.C., D.C. to Florida, because that's just what wealthy people do.
No, I know. Yeah,
planes like Ubers.
When I went to the West, I was at Mar-a-Lago for the screening of 2,000 Mules, and then when I was flying out of West Palm, the line for the New York plane, it was a parade of wheelchairs.
Really?
That went
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I counted more than 100 wheelchairs. I'm like, that's
Really?
the half of the
Wheelchairs
flight.
and small dogs.
Yes. So that I could see that happening. And other people like why do I get his name wrong? Robert Kennedy Jr., who's also running as an independent. He admitted, he says, I've been on that plane with my family a half dozen times that he can remember, but it was not about going to the island.
Right.
Absolutely. So, that would be the only thing I would clarify is that, but, if you listen to the mainstream media, you would have, you would think that Trump actually went to his island and engaged in sexual activity based on the fact that he was on his plane once.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, mainstream who? Oh, yeah, okay. Lynn, I kind of want to pivot because, it's a way to talk about Trump, but if you guys miss the interview I had with Lynn Patton, I'm filling in for Sean Thompson's show, but I also have it. It's on my podcast at Black and Right Radio.
Black and Right Radio.
Sorry, on 560. Go to 560answer.com.
Go to 560theanswer.com
and download the interview that Lynn and I did. Because Lynn, you have a very interesting story, and it's a story that, in a way, we can talk about what Trump, the Trump family and who they are, and also expound upon who Lynn Patton is, right? Because when you look at how the media, they told us all these bad things about the Trumps, but in reality, they were talking about the Bidens, in reality, because they knew who Trump was running against, right? They knew that it was going to be Trump and Biden, so they had to put all this on Trump. But talk to us about your story, because it's a very fascinating story, and this was an opportunity for the Trump kids and Trump to fire you, and you would have been lost in translation many years ago, right?
Yes. So for people, and I'll keep it short because we went on in first 4 segments talking about this, but I started off, as I said, a personal assistant for the Trump family, rising through the ranks thanks to the opportunities they gave me to vice president. and then coming with him to the Washington, D.C. to work in the White House, and then ultimately working for Secretary Ben Carson. But you're right, that all could have come to an end in 2012, 2013, I believe. The Trump family staged an actual physical intervention for me. I grew up sort of in a privileged sort of environment in Connecticut. I went to private boarding schools and fell into, some drug use. I told myself it was social. It was not a problem. I relapsed around that time, 2011, 2012. And that's when I was working for the Trump family and obviously had a very high-pressure job. I thought that as long as I kept showing up for work and was paying my bills and not living on the street, that I was sort of a functioning, high-performing social drug user. And that's just not the case. The boys and family quickly picked up on, I guess, maybe some odd behavior. And somebody that I worked with actually told them that I was abusing cocaine. And one day I walk into work and Eric Trump pulls me in his office and he goes, Lynn, you're better than this. You don't need to do this. This is not who you are. And I immediately, and I hate to admit it, denied whatever I thought he was talking about. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not using drugs. That's crazy. I haven't used drugs in decades, blah, blah, blah. And the man started to cry right in front of me. And at that point, I just lost it. He's like, Lynn, you're like a sister to us, and we can get through this, and we're not going to let you go. We just want to work with you through this. And my parents were on the phone. He had called them. Yeah, his wife was on the phone. Well, his girlfriend at the time, but she was one of my very best friends. Laura Trump was on the phone. And then, his sister and Don Jr. later approached me and came up and offered their support. And ultimately, when their father came down the golden escalator and announced he was running for president and, asked me to go with him to Washington, D.C., it was the greatest compliment ever because, again, like you said, John, here's a family who I get asked all the time, how does a black female work for such a racist family? Yep. And it's just outrageous, the fact that, I said it on your show before, and as you just said, this was designed to kind of take Trump down when I've seen nothing but the opposite. And when you look at Joe Biden and the statements he's made, at the end of the day, racists, even subconscious ones, eventually can't help themselves. They are going to slip up and they are going to say something. I've been with this family for 16 years. I have never felt uncomfortable. I have never heard them say anything, even when they didn't even realize I was standing behind them or in the room. They've never made a joke that was racially biased. They've never made a joke that was, gender biased. I mean, it's just the most
classy.
And
correct.
You've been able to challenge them on things that are out there, as far as what you don't like about if there's been some, right? Talk about
and
that.
I did tell them, I said, one of the things that I've always had a problem with, right or wrong, is the fact that, trying to reconcile the fact that Trump has inadvertently attracted sort of the unsolicited support of hate groups since the moment he announced he was running for president. And there is no denying that. And I've had extensive dialogue with minority Republicans, with Ivanka Trump herself in the early days of the campaign. And, I can't explain it. I really can't. But what I do know is that racist people raise racist children.
That's right.
Whether bigotry is taught, we all know this, directly or indirectly. Babies aren't born with prejudice in their hearts. And one of the things I said at the RNC convention in 2016 was that the Bible tells us you can judge a tree by the fruit it bears. That's Matthew 7:15. And if you embrace those words, then you embrace Donald Trump, because he's raised 5 of the best children I've ever had the privilege to know and the honor to call friends. You're not going to read about, and trust me, the mainstream media would love to report about the bad behavior of the Trump kids like Hunter Biden, but you're never going to hear about them being arrested for a DUI or or drugs or soliciting a prostitute or even shoplifting. By the way, I've never even heard rumors about them just yelling at a waitress or a flight attendant, things that happen in everyday America, and I've never seen it. In fact, they go out of their way to make sure that staff and folks who work for them at their hotels or, in the Trump organization are taken care of. And I told this story on your show the last time, the condition of selling the Trump D.C. hotel, which was one of his crown jewels and pride and joy properties. But, the endless investigations just made it not worth holding on to anymore. But one of the main conditions, in fact, the only condition Trump had before he sold it to a group of investors from Miami, was that they had to keep every single staffer that worked at that hotel, from the valets to the concierges to the bartenders to the chambermaids, and they did. And that's the kind of thing you're not going to read about in the media. You're not going to hear these stories. And it breaks my heart because, again, it's the current president who thinks that black people don't know how to find a polling station or use the internet.
Or fax machine. Yes.
It's the current president who said Obama is articulate and clean, or that poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids, or that he didn't want his kids going to school in a racial jungle.
Oh,
I mean, these are the quotes that he's made over the years, not Trump. Can you imagine if Trump said blacks are born out of wedlock without parents, without supervision, and because of that, they have not been socialized and cannot be rehabilitated. Those are Joe Biden's words when he was a senator in Delaware.
Lynn, Pat, we're so sorry we're up against the clock, but it was such a pleasure having you on. We would love to have you back. So
I'd love to be back.
Okay. Lynn Patton, Senior Advisor to President Trump, and she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're looking to make your business bulletproof, what comes to mind? Trustworthiness? Accuracy? Truthiness? Well, that's not even a real word. In today's competitive business landscape, considerations like trust, attention to service, accuracy, and knowledge are critical. So is cost, and finding the right balance is important, especially where your business insurance, employee benefits, and executive compensation needs are concerned. For bulletproofing your business, remember DSP Insurance Services. DSP is family-owned and has provided comprehensive risk management solutions and strategic excellence across industries for over 40 years. Business owners continue to partner with DSP because they offer the robust services of a national broker, yet a personal touch that is harder than ever to find these days. Contact DSP Insurance Services for a business and risk audit today. Visit online at dspmybusiness.com. That's dspmybusiness.com. DSP Insurance, your outsourced risk management department since 1981.
Man, you talk about hitting a grand slam, just feeling just incredible. And I haven't felt this great in years. I'm 52, and with these, and I just appreciate, I'm impressed. I've never felt this great. I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Honey, I am like a different woman. Finally one day I kept seeing that commercial and I said, what the heck? What do I got to lose? I started feeling a little bit better. So I got my sister on them. I got my daughter on them. I can't say enough about them. I really can't. Those commercials that you all do is the truth.
Step into the new year with a new you. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code Chicago.
Hey, if you're traveling for the holidays, our friends at Pure Talk, they have you covered because they have just added international roaming to over 30 countries. Now, that's right. Whether you're making calls from the Vatican, on the beaches of the Bahamas, they've got you covered. From the steps of Buckingham Palace to your villa in beautiful Italy, you can dial away. And here's the best part. There's no rate increase at all. Now, Pure Talk still saves the average family close to $1,000 a year, and they use the same cell towers, same 5G network as the big carriers, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Stop dragging your feet. Make the switch. It's simple. It's fast. It's easy. Join a veteran-owned wireless company that is saving people tons of money for the exact same service, and now offering international roaming to over 30 countries. Now, from your cell phone, just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, make the switch, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Pound 250, keyword save now, and start saving on your wireless right now.
AM 560, The Answer.
Open mic! Open mic Friday! Call it now! Open mic Friday!
Oh, boy. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. You can text us if you can't get through. But if at first you don't succeed, try again. Once somebody drops the call, then we'll have another line open. And filling in for turnkey.pro's president extraordinaire, who is on vacation, David Kulsek, the one and only, God help us all, Sean from Elmwood Park. Hello, Sean. How are you?
What's going on, kid? How are you?
I'm good. So what's on your mind, partner? Anything you want to...
I have to tell you, I was asked to fill in for David Kulsek, who's a wonderful guy and wonderful supporter of the show, Turnkey.pro. It's fantastic. And I was walking on the beach listening to that moron that you had who's an alderman in the 2nd Ward. Now, my real question is, do you want to believe what's more comfortable, that he's just stupid or that he's a gypsy liar? Because the idea that he is somehow a good Democrat, well, making $143,000 a year as an alderman.
Jeez.
$12,000 a month, $3,000 a week, and he didn't mention one of the facts of the businesses that have been driven out of his district. Not one. He also didn't mention how the idiot who's pretending to be mayor just appropriates $2.7 million to imitate small business and rent storefronts so it looks like the Potemkin Village versus the collapse of a once great city because of the Democrats that he still pretends there are good ones. There are no good ones. And for the people that live in his district that are paying that morphodite $3,000 a week to fail in that way and come up with the excuses of the Statue of Liberty and not talk about the drugs and the crime and the carjackings and the mayhem that he has set on his ass while he collected the $3,000 a week is a disgrace. And that is also what's called in the real estate business an indicator, a selling indicator. And it is time, if you live in these idiot districts, to put your house up for sale, because guaranteed in 3 years it'll be worth 50 cents on the dollar. And if you inflationally adjust, you're deluding yourself with thinking the property's gone up at all anyway.
Well, how do you think selective enrollment? Well, getting rid of selective enrollment. So now I'm hearing rumblings from my neighbors because our high school is not the best, our neighborhood high school, and they're thinking about moving near Jones Prep or Whitney Young or Northside Prep. Do you think those property values are going to go up?
You're shuffling the chairs on the Titanic.
Okay.
And if you're talking about a short pop of short demand by trust fund babies that never work for a dollar, those are the only ones that'll be left. The ones who can hire private security. That's another thing he didn't talk about. Rich people have been hiring private security as they do in Europe because of what's happening in that city.
Right.
It's outrageous. And he comes out and talks about the Statue of Liberty, the moron. Why didn't he talk about the Sinaloa cartels? They're having a banner year.
Billions.
A banner year. And he's going to talk about how he's just a witness to the collapse rather than a perpetrator himself. See, that's the problem. And that's why I don't give them a minute of my time. Because no matter what they say, if I'm kind, they're just stupid. And if you want to call him just stupid, fine. If I'm aware, he's a gypsy salesman who's in on the scam. Because he wants that $3,000 a week and he wants to wield the power of an alderman. And he wants to stand there like Pontius Pilate. I didn't know Ed Burke and Mike Madigan were gangsters. Oh, really? You had no idea. They all make me sick, and they're not going to do anything. And you have a chance if you're there. Get out while you can. That's the only answer. Because nobody's going to turn around because nobody's talking about right and wrong. Nobody's talking about the answer. Here's the guy. He just had 2 of his cars seized for tickets. The moron that's the mayor now. 2 of his cars because he blows red lights. He doesn't have to abide by laws. He doesn't have to pay his water bill. He misappropriates $2.7 million to sign leases on storefronts. Those are the people's tax money.
Right.
Where does it say he's allowed to do that? Where does it say he's allowed to? He's not. But he's going to get away with it because the people are just like the alderman. You're either stupid or you're in on it.
Well, I think
That's
there's
the only people that'll be left there.
I think Alderman Beale, Wazpak, Conway, Brandon Riley, who's best friends with Dan Proft. Napolitano. There's a group of them.
He's a drunk
that
moron.
Well, there's a
Riley's
group of
a
them.
drunk.
There's a group of them that are forming that they're not progressives. They act more. I mean, there's
Amy,
nothing they can do.
You're deluding yourself. You're deluding yourself. You want to talk about a new alderman like Napolitano? Okay, maybe. That's about it. You want to talk about Lopez? Okay. But he still won't denounce the Democrats. There's still going to be Democrats. Until you understand, there is no such thing as a Democrat. It's an admission of an organized syndicate. It's the La Cosa Nostra of America. It's a mafia. And until that becomes synonymous with exactly what it is, a crime family, then you're playing round and round and round. But that's okay, because I'm out. Lose your money, and I'll laugh at you the whole time. And pretend that this guy didn't know what's going on. And pretend he's going to give you a speech about the Statue of Liberty. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, the Statue of Liberty. And when you said $9,000 a month, oh, it's not that much. If it's $900 a month, the city's broke.
Right. They're giving us money. I mean, I drove by a hotel. Oh, wait, let me tell you something. I drove by a motel yesterday on Lincoln that's housing migrants, and I thought, my God, there's homeless people who I would love that if I was unhoused to have the government take care of you, give you 3 meals a day, come in and they do their laundry. They make their beds for them. That's how corrupt this is. Why can't they make their beds themselves?
How about the guy who owns the hotel? And did he talk about the tens of millions that was misappropriated on the tainted land owned by the butter-handed, pansy, half-ass wise guys? Did he talk about that?
No.
He didn't talk about that either. What about that money? Oh, it's the Statue of Liberty. It's a frickin' scam. And these 2-bit pansy hoods think they're getting away with it, because they are. Because the people don't care.
All
the
right.
people just want their piece of the pie.
Sean from Elmwood Park.
Tell us how it is.
Filling in for David Kolsak with our Turnkey.pro answer line. Thank you, Sean. Love you.
Take care, Sean.
And by the way, any
Yes,
one
sir.
of these pansies want to have this discussion face-to-face, every time I come back, I'll give out the address, because I'd love to look at your beady, short-in-the-pants eyes when I tell you what you are.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Let's.
Like only Sean.
Anything you want to
Only
get
Sean
off?
can tell.
Anything you would like to get off your chest?
Yeah, the
Or talk about?
DMV.
Oh, here we go.
Why are we having appointments?
Okay. All right. What's wrong?
Because
So what
just
happened?
because Chicago is packed and loaded doesn't mean places like Joliet, Plano DMVs, you used to could just go right in, zip out. Now you got to sit and wait because all these appointments that are happening.
Well, are people
Get rid
showing
of the
up for
appointments?
Are people showing up for their appointments?
Yes.
Well, then make an appointment. And
I
then
don't
you could
want to. I just want to
zip
go in.
and you could zip out.
I want to zip in and zip out. That's what I want to do. In, out. Come on. Or how about, guess what?
What?
Which they can do, you can do now. Go online.
Oh boy.
And just have it sent to my house. But send
Right,
it in 3 days.
Well, you know what I did because I was breaking the law earlier this weekend, so I got a warning from Illinois State Police.
Wait a minute. Let me look.
No, I'm fine.
Really, Amy?
I got a warning.
Wait.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
How expired?
Officer. Well, here's the thing. I don't have an unpaid parking ticket.
God.
And I am on time. When he told me my plate expired in August of
August.
2023, I went, oh, wait a minute. What's going on? So I went to a currency exchange and got it taken care of. And I changed my left light bulb that was out.
Oh,
Okay?
look at you.
Yeah. Compliant written all over me. I do want to tell you. So last night, this is this cringeworthy moment I wanted to get to before we take your calls. 312-642-5600. You know who Caitlin Collins is?
Yeah, the basketball player.
Okay.
Oh, no. The news lady from CNN.
From CNN. She hosted the town hall. So there's Caitlin Collins, who I think looks like Dylan Mulvaney. And then there's Caitlin Clark, who's an all-star, all-American basketball player from University of Iowa, number 22. So DeSantis comes on, and this is such a try-hard moment. You have to hear it for yourself. He comes on with a Caitlin Clark jersey to give to Caitlin Collins. It's such a stretch, and it's so embarrassing.
Now, please welcome Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Now, it's great to be back at Grandview. Thanks, CNN. So I heard the other day
someone say that Caitlin Collins had some basketball skills. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but I know in Iowa they have a Caitlin Clark. So I just wanted to give you this as a memento. And just respectfully, if the game's on the line and we need a buzzer beater, I'm going with Clark over Collins. So
Rest assured, her free throws and her threes are much better than mine, Governor. But thank you so much for that. Thank you. And good luck to her playing against Rutgers on Friday night. Governor, thank you for being here. Obviously, as you know, just 45 minutes away from here at Perry High School, earlier today in Perry, Iowa, there was a shooting. A sixth grader was killed. 5 others were injured, including a school
He had to know that she was going to start off with the pressing news of the day. With that horrible shooting, a 6th grader was killed. The 17-year-old gunman turned the gun on himself. 5 other people were injured. What?
Amy?
So, and then his face, because he was all cheery and happy, and then she brought up the shooting, and his face fell, and I was like, that just did not work at all.
Amy?
And you can tell he rehearsed that.
Yeah.
You know,
one of the things I do, I consult people that are running for office for the first time. What not to do.
Okay.
Props never work. Don't ever bring out anything. Props
don't work. Okay,
No,
and
never do
don't
that.
dance.
Never dance.
Never.
Unless you
dance.
do the Will Smith 2-step. That's,
Oh yeah, that's
just
okay.
Keep it right there. Keep it right there.
That's all right.
But props never work. And in his mind, his team should have known. That should have been at the end. If you want to do something like that, do that at the end because you know where she's going. You know what just happened.
I mean, it just happened. Oh, it was so bad. All right, let's get to the phone lines, 312-642-5600. Remember, if you hit a busy signal, please call back. Let's go to Karen in Beecher, Illinois. Good morning, Karen.
Oh, good morning. First and foremost, I want to say Happy New Year. I forgot to say that when I called in Tuesday. So Happy New Year. And John, you are looking hot. I just have to say. You are
Pull your
doing
heels, he's
an
taken.
amazing job. And also, too, Amy, I know that you're in Indiana on Saturdays, I believe it is.
Yes.
So I wanted to tell you, come and visit us all. We're great fans of yours and Dan's and John's at Uncle John's Flea Market on Route 41 there in Cedar Lake. So come out and see us, and you're going to find a ton of bargains and just have a lot of fun with us, especially in Dick's building where I'm at. It's always a party, and we love you.
All right. Thank you. I might kid. You know what? Give your cell phone number. Quinn, can we put her on hold and get her cell phone number? I don't think I'm going to Indiana this weekend, but I will be.
Where you going in
heading
Indiana?
there.
Where you going?
I go to Highland, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Pure hot yoga. I started
you go
going
all the way there just for yoga?
Oh yeah, she's Rachel. She's the best teacher. 8:30 a.m.
Well,
Saturdays.
You white people are something else.
What did you say? What did you say
You
about
white
people?
are something else.
Well, this is what happened. I started going in June of 2020 because they were open and you didn't have to wear a mask. Don't down dog me. I'll namaste you. And so I started going, and she's an amazing teacher. And now her husband Jim's teaching, and so I keep going. And some months I can't because of
nice little
volleyball. But that also, then I gas up there. I gas up for $245.
You make it
And
worth
then
it.
I went grocery shopping, and I bought Quinn's son Emmett a box of cereal because it's $2.99 at the Walmart there.
Well, you're right.
And I run into listeners at the Walmart in Hammond.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I know you.
Oh, you should see the way I'm dressed. Oh, you might give me some money if I hold out a cup. All right. Oh boy. Kevin in Ogden Dunes. We have the Prime Minister of Ireland.
Here we go.
Ireland's woke prime minister embedded inside the governor's kitchen cabinet. Amy, your grandmother said, keep track of the pennies and the dollars keep track of themselves. Not this time. Governor Lizzo is hopping mad at older sister Penny. She birthed the worst fiasco in Harvard history, and it's forcing JB to go through a midwife crisis. Publish or perish, Penny says, no need for that, so long as your skin's the right color. She not only pushed through a lesser candidate, phoning in the inspection of the gays' academic record, but then she fought and lost the costly campaign to keep the gays. The whole catastrophe cost Harvard billions in reputation and brand value. Perhaps worse than a bad judgment, Penny authorized the lawyers to threaten destroying the New York Post and the bankrupting lawsuits when in actuality, this whole sad chapter was Penny's doing. Ironic when you consider Harvard's motto is the single word, truth. The good news is Penny made plagiarism fashionable again, just in time for artificial intelligence to counterfeit every term paper in the Harvard Yard. Her actions may ruin JB's chance at being president. What a waste. What a tremendously round waste. But regardless, Penny wise and Harvard foolish. Once again, the elites are caught red-handed. Skin power trumps brain power and judgment at the Poison Ivy League.
All right. Thank you, Prime Minister of Ireland. Oh, that's funny. From Ogden Dunes, of all the places. Can you talk Irish?
You guys have some real funny people.
Oh, very.
The Amish
yes.
texter, the guy that calls in with the poems.
Yes. It goes on and
so
on.
Funny.
All right, Bob in Buffalo Grove. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Good morning, Amy and John. Great to hear you guys together, black and white.
Uh-oh.
Yesterday, Dan opened up his program with discussing the Epstein story, but cut the discussion short, and I wasn't able to offer a comment. Then this morning, your phone lines appeared to be down, and I wasn't able to discuss the topic. So now let me offer the following. Wasn't the Epstein Island the site of a serious crime? The key suspect committed suicide, right? I won't mention his name, but you know it. His associate, however, was arrested and found guilty and jailed. However, aren't there other suspects? And then what of the victims? I thank you, Amy, for touching upon the subject of the victims this morning.
They're lost in all of this. I mean, there's 70 plus that we know of. I do know that $290 million went to the victims from J.P. Morgan.
What?
Yeah. They paid out $290 million to the victims. It's very
That's
strange. I know.
How come we haven't heard about this? Could any of these suspects step forward and expose the men?
They might have had to sell or sign a non-disclosure agreement to get the money. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But Virginia Dufresne Robert did speak to ABC News years ago. They did the story. She had pictures. She claimed that she was 17 at the time and was forced into an orgy with Prince Andrew and other young girls. And nothing.
So who's the female that's the Jane Doe number 3 or something? Apparently it's a female because I was reading the some of the 900 pages, and it said she.
Well, I mean, they're just
they're hiding her for right now. She has to prove that what if she's revealed, she'll be attacked or something like that.
Well, the mainstream media is covering up for the elite politicians and for the royal family.
Yeah.
Because the last thing the royal family wants is for this to be drudged up again.
Correct.
So, all right, thanks, Bob, for the phone call.
If it was Trump,
great talking to you. Have a great weekend.
If it was Trump, 24/7.
Oh,
that's all we'd see.
That's
all we'd see.
And Bill Clinton, after saying he never went to the island, apparently was on the island, but didn't do anything. Yeah. Terry in Rogers Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I just like to say the European countries don't have the burden of allowing migrants into their countries like America has done for many years. It has to stop now or it's going to ruin America.
All right. Thank you, Terry. I know we're being invaded and nobody seems to care. No. And Brandon Johnson today is meeting with congressional members of Illinois, very official, to talk about this. But they're not talking about the issue. They're just talking about funding. They need more money.
That's all they care about. Only the money.
More money.
Not the issue at hand. Just give me more money. Show me the money.
Let's go to Rich in Indian Head. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning, John.
Hey,
how you guys doing today?
Well.
Good.
I got two quick things. The first thing is you have this mayor of New York, Adams. He wants to sue the bus companies. Why would you sue the bus companies? They're just doing their job. They're transporting people, and they're being paid for that. That's their business. I mean, I don't understand that. That's like saying he wants to sue the restaurants because their price on steaks are too high.
Ah, that's a good analogy.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, thanks, Rich.
And the next thing.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I got one more thing. The next thing is the taxpayers should not have to pay for abortions in this country.
Yeah.
There's no way that they should have to pay for that because there's so many pro-life people, and they shouldn't have to be part of anything that would be involved with killing babies. If you want to kill your baby, do it on your own, pay for it by yourself, but taxpayers should not in any way have to be involved in that.
All
You
right.
guys have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
You know,
In
I
case-
don't want abortion, but if we have it, I'm with him. Taxpayer money shouldn't touch it at all.
No.
At all.
No,
At
no.
all.
We shouldn't have these stay vacations for abortions. But I want to.
Are they using TIF money to build these shelters? I saw somebody.
You think
post that.
they don't? But Brandon Johnson is a dictator right now.
Yeah.
He, without city council approval, just decided that COVID fund now it's going to migrants instead of the neighborhoods where it should go. Real quick though, in case you missed it, Mayor Eric Adams. This is how he's going to stop immigration to New York City. New York City.
New York City has and will continue to do our part to manage this humanitarian crisis. But we cannot bear the cost of reckless political ploys from the state of Texas alone. Today, our administration filed a lawsuit against 17 companies that have taken part in Texas Governor Greg Abbott's scheme to transport tens of thousands of migrants to New York City in an attempt to overwhelm our social services system. These companies have violated state law by not paying the cost of caring for these migrants. And that's why we are suing to recoup approximately $700 million already spent to care for migrants bused here in the last 2 years by the state of Texas. Governor Abbott's continuing use of migrants as political pawns is not only chaotic and inhumane, but makes clear he puts politics over people. Today's lawsuit should serve as a warning to all those who break the law in this way.
Bring more buses, fly them in. Honestly, because Adams is suing the bus companies, but not the Biden administration, who allowed the illegals to invade our country.
He got his butt kicked at the White House. That's why he's got the memo now. He's doing the bidding because I had high hopes for him. The way he ran for office and how he's governing. I'm not gonna lie. I had to admit on my show to Verlon that he's a colossal failure because I thought he would do it differently, and he completely has not. He hasn't done anything. I don't like this guy at all.
Yeah,
at all.
I had high hopes too, and once again, a politician has let us down. No,
Yeah, well,
can't believe that. Nick on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. Happy New Year, everybody, including you guys there, of course. John, I listen to your show Saturday afternoons, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
It's a great show. It's a fun show, and I ask people to listen to it, too. Give it a try.
Thank you.
If you're busy on a Saturday, squeeze it in. You'll catch some a nice one no matter when you tune in. Look, this migrant thing, this is going to be the same thing as what the coronavirus was for the last presidential election. A lot of people coming in. Eventually, the talk about fast-tracking citizenship, and the politicians can't do that, but they're going to bring it down to giving IDs, like driver's licenses. Driver's licenses in Illinois allow you to be registered pretty much automatically as a voter. Whether you're legally allowed to vote or not, that's something you should make that decision about. But, hey, if they mail out a bunch of ballots again, they're laying around on the floors of apartment buildings and big condo buildings where things don't match up with the name, but they're there with that address. That is a valid vote when it's filled out and mailed in. And all somebody has to do when it's received at the county center, like in Atlanta again with a microscope, they look at the signature on the outside, they open up the envelope, and inside is the actual ballot that you voted for the people. If the signatures match or sort of match, once they throw away that outer envelope, that's it. They're not allowed to retrieve it again to check something to see if it's valid or phony or what, because that violates the secrecy of the vote. So we got to be somehow aware that this, Democrats, look, the Democrat Party, look, you people there. I don't mind if Trump loses legitimately. Okay, fine. Or any Republican or conservative. But there's something going on that's obviously back to 60 years ago to the Kennedy election with Nixon. There's something fishy going on that, maybe nobody can actually prove every single thing, but there's something going on. So other than that, let's be aware and let's give them help. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Nick. Appreciate the phone call. Let's go to Paul in Barrington. This is Quinn McCarthy. And whenever we have Dr. Richard Bartlett on, he gets flooded with phone calls and emails about how to spell this word, right, Paul?
Yes. Yes, please.
Budesonide.
Uh-oh.
Budesonideworks.com. B-U-D. Okay, you ready? Got a pen and paper?
I do.
B-U-D-E.
Is that B as in Bravo?
Yes,
Yeah.
B as in Bravo. U
Oh.
as in unicorn. Oh, this is really exciting radio. D as in David. E as in elephant. S as in Sally.
Whoa, you're getting too far. B-U-S?
B-U-D.
Is
Can
this
I
my
do it?
dad on the phone?
Can I do it?
Okay.
B-Boy, U Union, D David, E Edward, S Sam, O Ocean, N Nora, I Ida, D David, E Edward. You got it? Copy, repeat.
B-U-D-E-S-O-N-I-D-E.
Yeah!
There it is.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't get the phone fast enough. By the way, I'm a 1960 graduate of Amundsen.
Oh, you are? Congratulations. Well, I'll tell you, budesonide works because when I had COVID,
It did.
And then when I had the flu later on,
Yeah.
The state of Utah doesn't sell. You have to get a prescription to get a nebulizer, which is the
Well, that's here
craziest.
too.
Pardon?
You
Not
have to-
here. I don't. You can go in
don't?
any Walgreens and buy a nebulizer.
Oh.
Or CVS or whatever. So I had to get a prescription. I got the last one on the shelf, and I started taking it again. It helped.
Yeah.
Any lung issues you have, they use it for asthma.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It was great.
All right, thanks, Paul, for your phone call, and I'm glad you listened to the show, and I'm glad you
Oh.
went to Amundsen. What?
Yeah. Who didn't see that coming?
All right, let's go to Greg in LaGrange. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, John Anthony.
Hey,
How
buddy.
are you guys?
Doing well.
So let me get this straight. Eric Adams wants to sue the bus companies for taking migrants that were led into this country by our president, desires. And Eric Adams wants to deny these people their right to travel throughout the country. I think there's a problem there. Like,
They know where they're
Maybe
going when they go on the buses.
these people, isn't there a problem with denying people a right of free travel throughout the country
Freedom
when
of
it's
movement,
basically
brother.
approved that they can come in?
Yep.
Right. So Eric
In the
Adams can sue the
Constitution.
bus companies all he wants. I would countersue him, and when he loses the case, like he will lose, then the bus companies can stick the court costs back on New York City, which is already busted out. So let Eric Adams do whatever he feels is right, because it will be wrong in the end.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to get in a few more phone calls here. Let's go to Richard Lockwood in
Hey.
Chicago. Hi, sir. How are you?
Amy and John, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I'm the author of a book called The Ballad of Donald J. Trump. It's the story of our 45th president in poetic verse.
Oh.
And Barnes & Noble won't put it out on their shelves, but it's Liberty Hill Publishing, and I'd like to read a verse for
Okay.
you. May I?
Yes, you can.
When liberty's mighty foundation was shaken and branded untrue, a patriot businessman came forth to show us what we had to do. He said that America's greatness would rise once again from its sleep if those who were lost and forgotten would stop being herded like sheep. Confronting corrupt politicians, he spoke from his heart on the stump. Despite their attacks and petitions, we voted for Donald J. Trump. And each verse has a colored picture of something of Donald Trump's presidency, and it's a really nice book, and I dedicated it to the memory of Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, that's my guy.
Oh, that's great. Well, Richard,
And-
keep up the fight and get it out there somehow. If Barnes & Noble says no, try the internet, try something.
Well, any help would be appreciated. It can also be found at Amazon.com.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And the book is called The Ballad of Donald J. Trump. Thank you so much for calling. Let's go to Bill and Elgin. Switching topics a little bit. Hi, Bill.
Hey, good morning. Hey, John, I'm with you on the no cable thing. I don't have cable either. It's always interesting when I'm debating people on politics, on issues. They always throw that up. Oh, you're brainwashed by Fox. Yeah. Well, no, not really. And the best thing about it is it forces me to research. It forces me to listen to talk radio, various shows, which, by the way, I love your lineup here. It also forces me to dive deep into articles, find the sources, where they're coming from. So I'm with you, John. Not only am I saving money, but I'm more informed because I don't have cable.
Yeah. I know. I got to get.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
I need to get a smart TV. Oh, this is so technical, and poor Justin has had to deal with my technical issues. I had to get a smart TV and then get Hulu or Roku. What is it?
Oh gosh,
Justin. Oh, he's not even helping me anymore. He's not even listening to the show. Oh my God! All right, let's go. Let's go to Jeff in Countryside. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Thanks. You too.
Okay, I just heard you, the one caller, and you chime in on the freedom of travel that we have. It's one of our rights, and I think the problem with the country right now is because nobody really knows our rights, and if we get back to that, that's where the change will happen. And if we have a right to travel, and our rights are God-given, and they're unalienable, right? So they're unalienable.
Are you sovereign?
See, this is the thing. Nobody talks about this on the radios, and I'm not sure if you guys are allowed to.
Are you a sovereign? Are you sovereign?
No, but I'm studying, and I have the affidavit on me right now.
Good.
And if we are contracting with license fees,
Jeff,
and insurance companies with our all caps name.
You know what, Jeff? I'm so sorry. I've got to cut you off because I just want to I want to thank Old Work Millworks. If you're watching us on our Signature Bank line or studio on YouTube, they handcraft these and they're beautiful. They said Merry Christmas and remember the reason for the season. Old World Millworks. They are in the town of Maple Park, Illinois. And quickly, Chuck, can you sum this up in 15 seconds? Go. Chuck from Delvin.
Thanks to Sean for mentioning my garage band, Butter-Handed Pansy. The border problem was created by Paul Ryan. He denied the money to Donald Trump. And I'm getting my hair cut today and my beard trimmed for the first time since 1992.
Good for you. It's 9 a.m. WIND, Chicago.
More hiring than expected. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's how last year ended, with 216,000 jobs created, and December's unemployment rate held steady at 3.7%, not rising as economists predicted.
The Federal Reserve has been attempting to engineer a cooler economy and job market without a recession, in other words, a soft landing, though employment in December was even stronger than November, which had been helped by the end of the auto workers and Hollywood strikes.
Fox's Jenny Casola. Not much reaction on Wall Street. We're seeing some gains. The Dow and the NASDAQ both on the rise. The president will not be focused on a resilient economy as he holds his first 2024 campaign rally in Pennsylvania today. Instead,
President Biden will warn of extremist voices in the Republican Party that helped fuel the riot at the U.S. Capitol 3 years ago.
I want to be very, very clear. The threat that Donald Trump posed in 2020 to American democracy has grown even more dangerous than it was when President Biden ran last time.
Biden-Harris principal deputy campaign manager Quentin Fulks says the president intends to run for re-election as if democracy depends on it.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Now, former President Trump will be rallying in Iowa 10 days before the first 2024 contest. He remains the front runner in the polls by far. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, also in Iowa, tells the Fox News Rundown podcast he doesn't believe the polls, and it's all about getting voters to caucus for him.
We've got massive numbers of people that are committed. We're adding more every day. And then we turn them out.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken will soon arrive in Turkey for talks, one of several stops as he travels to the Middle East, as Israel keeps waging war against Hamas in Gaza. State Department spokesman Matt Miller says,
"It is in no one's interest, not Israel's, not the region's, not the world's, for this conflict to spread beyond Gaza."
Yet the U.S. remains a target. Again, we've been hit, or at least targeted by, an armed drone in Iraq, according to an Iraq statement today. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, we have 29 degrees.
9:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Partly sunny skies this morning, and 5 with a voting rights group linked to progressive and Democrat forces are challenging Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Illinois. Election Board spokesman Matt Dietrich says right now they can't discuss the nature